One back-to-back is over, but also saying it's time to reevaluate. Am I going to come back next year? Is this how I want it to end?
Kickoff just about ready to go at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, and of course we'll take you there following the conclusion of this one. There's Mazzotti, takes a look at the clock, and this is over as the Western semifinal begins. There will be a new Grey Cup champion in 1998. Dave Ritchie's team has just upended the Toronto Argonauts. The final score from Molson Stadium, the Alouettes 41, the Argonauts 28. Let's go to Edmonton and join Mark Lee.
Welcome to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton as Damon Allen comes on the field as the Lions will start first in this West semi-final. And here are the offensive lineups.
Mo Eluanibi, who is always a threat to maybe catch the ball out of the backfield. He did it against Saskatchewan this year. Leads the offensive line. Of course, Juan Johnson, well documented what he has done. 7 100-yard games this season.
Robert Drummond gets the ball on a pitch, and the Eskimos are waiting in large numbers to stop him for little or no gain. Robert Drummond, the double threat on rushing and pass receiving, and there's a flag on the play.
Procedure, BC, no end, decline. Second down.
So the Lions are flagged on their very first play of this football game. Here's the Edmonton defense, and there's Derek McCready, the run stopper.
Derek McCready will sub into the game and keep Leroy Blue, Melvin Hunter, and Benny Goods fresh. Don Wilson back in the game. It makes him better in pass coverage, but a little light against the run, and Rio Wells will be tested playing in his first playoff game.
2nd and 10, Lions at their own 38. Trouble, and there's a sack as Damon Allen can't get out of the pocket, and this Edmonton defense has risen to the occasion. Robert Brown, the rookie, with that pelt.
Well, you know the Edmonton Eskimos are going to be fired up to play this football game. Everyone has pretty much ruled them out, something they're not used to here in Edmonton, to come into a game in their own park as underdogs, but they've relished it and they love it. Robert Brown gets home on this one.
This is exactly what the Edmonton defense wants to do, to force Damon Allen to a 2nd and long passing situation and make him be perfect. He has not been a great passer this year with 16 touchdown passes against 16 interceptions. Basaglia's punt taken by the Gizmo at his own 37. Stops, looks for an opening, tries to go around the far side, and McCaffrey Nelson drags him down from behind for a short gain after a 40-yard punt from Louis Pasaglia. David Archer going in to start this game at quarterback. He was the offensive player of the week in the final week of the regular season with 4 touchdown passes against Saskatchewan.
Up front for the Edmonton Eskimos, Shamir Shahini will have his hands full playing against Dave Chaters and Johnny Scott up front in the receiving corps. Troy Mills back in the lineup coming out of the backfield. Desperately need him to have a good game running the football.
Troy Mills, the old Sacramento teammate of Dave Archer, didn't play last year along with Archer. And here's the first play for Edmonton, a short pass across the middle, and it's first down territory for the Eskimos.
Defensively for the BC Lions up front, of course, Johnny Scott having a tremendous season for the BC Lions. He leads the way. Him and Dave Chaters are tough to stop. Antonio Armstrong anchors the middle linebacking core. There has been 6 middle linebackers try and play that position this year. Seems they have one, of course. Steve Mohammed, as a rookie, leading the league in interceptions with 10 this season.
1st and 10. Archer and the handoff to Mills. He's got lots of room, and another first down off the left side. Big Troy Mills. Team with Tony Burse in that backfield getting the lead block, and big first down territory, 13 yards on that one.
It's the first time that Troy Mills and Tony Burse will play in the backfield together during the game. Tony Burse started in the Labor Day game but left the game with a pulled hamstring in the first series. Troy Mills is going to have more success with Burse back there because it's like having a guard with you in the backfield.
So the Eskimos get their running game going early. Archer, far side, Don Blair's got it. And he's brought down about 4 yards short of the first down marker. Don Blair, the only 1,000-yard receiver on this Edmonton offense.
Yeah, Don Blair has been hot and cold throughout the season, but he has come up with 1,000 yards. And if he is on his game, he's one of the best in the business.
It'll be second down and about 3.5 yards for the Eskimos, who are moving smartly here on their first offensive drive of the series. The give again, and Mills stumbles on this natural grass field, the only natural grass field in the CFL, and will be stopped for a loss. It'll be third down and looks like a field goal situation for Sean Fleming.
The best way to stop the run is to get penetration, and Herman Smith, number 91, from the top of your screen, gets in there and just throws Bruce Beaton back into the backfield. Troy Mills had nowhere to go.
The Eskimos bringing in Scott Diebert, replacing Brian Wiggins, the receiver there, to add up more beef on the line in that run situation. Fleming back to punt. As a 41-yard average, his longest, 69 yards.
BC, keep your hands clean.
Will stand just across the Eskimo side of center field as Rod Harris takes count of the return team for BC. Flag on the play.
Looks like it's going against Edmonton, which means obviously that they'll stay in the punt formation. I'm a little surprised, though.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 34. Still third down.
A little surprised that Kay Stevenson right out of the bat wouldn't try and kick a field goal. Now, obviously, with the penalty, they're going to have to punt, but that would have been a 50-yard field goal for Sean Fleming. He has hit one at 51 this year, so it's within his range, and there's really no wind, but Kay Stevenson electing to go with field position first.
No wind, and the turf is solid. Fleming telling me before the game he's going to wear cleats, 3/4-inch cleats, and felt the field was in good position, but they'll go with the punt, and this one will go across the goal line as the Lions let it settle, and Harris will fall on it to give up a single point on that 53-yard punt from Sean Fleming. And there's more pushing and shoving and cheap talk as the Eskimos get on the board first with one. Welcome back to Edmonton, where Robert Drummond stands in the BC huddle. He's won 3 Grey Cups in a row, looking for his 4th and part of this rushing triumvirate in BC.
Yeah, no question. It's a trio that is tough on defenses, because when you're having success with Juan Johnson up the middle, that opens things up for Damon Allen to the outside, and then you throw in Robert Drummond, who can line up as a tailback or a wide receiver, and boy, who do you key on if you're playing defense?
Juan Johnson over 100 yards in each of his last 6 games, a touchdown to that each game, and there's Drummond off the left side into heavy traffic on that very tough Edmonton defense here early in this football game.
Yeah, they have been tough so far, but you know that Robert Drummond, who is now finally healthy, will pound away at this Edmonton front four, who is a little long in the tooth up front. Hopefully for Edmonton fans, McCready helps them out there, but Robert Drummond is finally healthy. He's gone through hamstring injuries, a quad pull, a shoulder injury. He's 100% this afternoon.
Second down and 6, a passing situation for the Lions. Allen tries to run the ball, but is quickly tracked down by Melvin Hunter. And once again, the Lions will be forced to punt.
So far, the Edmonton defense has gone with a smaller lineup. They haven't brought McCready into the football game. They've left Don Wilson up there with Willie Pless and Dwayne Stewart. That time, Melvin Hunter caught up with Damon Allen, but it was Willie Pless who flushed him out of the pocket and made him run around. Melvin Hunter gets the tackle. Pless gets the assist.
Louis Pasaglia, punting his own age, his average 44 yards right now, and there's a spiraling kick down to the far sideline, and Gizmo Williams will let it go out at the Edmonton 23-yard line.
Number 6,
Giz back in the lineup. He missed 6 weeks this season with an undetermined injury. It looked more like they were trying to beef up their receiving corps with the return of Wiggins and Dowdell, and he's happy to be back in the lineup.
Well, that's exactly what they were doing, Mark. I mean, Henry Williams could have played, and they was benched from a coach's decision. And, you know, I think it's great for the Edmonton organization to put him back in the football game, because, number one, if you're the BC Lions, you have to game plan against Gizmo Williams. You have to be worried about him. And he brings some excitement to the locker room. He's a veteran and has been in this situation many times.
Archer up behind his center, Leo Groenwagen. First down, Eskimos. The handoff to Troy Mills, and he cuts right through the BC defense like a knife through butter. The ground game is working.
It's well blocked at the point of attack. That front five for the Edmonton offensive line open up a huge hole, and all of a sudden Troy Mills is in the secondary, and Picasso Nelson is trying to make the tackle. Look at the hole that Troy Mills has to look at. Antonio Armstrong is completely washed out of there by Bruce Beaton, and Troy Mills has tons of running room.
18-yard gain for Mills. Play action now. Archer looking down the far sideline, and it's tipped away by Glenn Rogers Jr. A great defensive effort as Dowdell appeared to be wide open.
Great athletic effort by Glenn Rogers, because he was caught short in the zone. He was supposed to get a little more depth in his drop, but made up for it athletically by jumping out of the gym to knock it down.
Archer's game plan working so far. This is the first time, though, he's been in a second and long situation, using the run to set up the play action. 2nd and 10, Archer in the shotgun. Deep down the far side, looking for Shannon Myers, and he can't catch up to it.
Well, I like the call by David Archer. Try and stretch that defense early. Even if you don't hook up with it, Shannon Myers going one-on-one with Andre Strode, and David Archer's just going to throw it down the field and say to the BC defense, listen, we are going to go deep on you, so you better be ready for it. Now, what David Archer is hoping is that as the game progresses, that'll open up his underneath patterns, and the BC defense will have to back off a little bit.
Ron Harris back to receive along with Dave Donaldson for BC as Fleming stands at his 30. A high skyrocket from Fleming will come down to Harris at his own 26, and good cover by the Eskimos. Chris Hardy, the quarterback out of the University of Manitoba, first man down on special teams for the Eskimos. Still 1-0, the home team in front in Edmonton. The BC Lions have won 6 games in a row, and much of their offensive success has been credited to this offense by committee. Danny Barrett, John Huffnagel, and Joe Paopao.
Yeah, right in behind there is Joe Paopao, and behind Dave Easley. That has been the offensive coordination right there, those 3 guys.
And so far in this game, BC has been 2 and out on their first 2 series, and that pass by Damon Allen intended for Sean Graham is incomplete.
When you think about those 3 guys, John Huffnagel, Joe Paopao, Danny Barrett, and then you throw in Damon Allen, that is 71 years of experience combined in the Canadian Football League.
2nd and 10, and this is where the Eskimos like to have Damon Allen, to force him to be perfect, to force him to go to the air, and it looks like a run situation as they clear the backfield. Allen straight back, flushed out of the pocket, and sacked for the 2nd time. Leroy Blue puts the clutch on Damon Allen, and it's 3 series, 2 and out for the Lions.
Yeah, exactly what the Edmonton Eskimos want to do. Get Damon Allen in 2nd and long, and then they just rush 4. Leroy Blue gets home and gets the sack on Damon Allen, but it's just a 4-man rush from the Edmonton Eskimos. Leroy Blue, Benny Goods, Brown, and Melvin Hunter coming. That means you can drop 8 in the secondary and cover down all the receivers. Damon Allen had no one to throw to.
Sagley on his own goal line. Gizmo and Wiggins back. It'll go to the Giz. It is 52, and he's brought down immediately. Tremendous coverage by the BC Lions. And so the Gizmo, hoping to electrify this team, is shut down on that return. David Archer, Glenn, is giving more say now in the play selection of this Edmonton team, an offense that has been called unimaginative, too NFL-like, and Dave likes the fact now he's having more say.
Yeah, when you talk to them publicly, Kay Stevenson will say, no, I call the plays, and Dave Archer will say, yeah, that's the way it works. But I think that Dave Archer has got a little more control of the offense. Saw in the Calgary game 2 weeks ago that Dave Archer actually went a couple series calling all his own plays, and that's the way he likes it.
Archer goes back to Troy Mills with more success as Mills romps right through the heart of that BC defense before Dwayne Knight, the outside linebacker, brings him down.
Well, if the Edmonton Eskimos continue to have success on first down like they have early in this football game with Troy Mills running the football, it's going to be a long day for the BC Lion defense. This puts David Archer in a great situation. If he's 2nd and inches here, they're going to take a measure on it. That opens the playbook. Well, he got the first down.
First down, Eskimos. Archer says he called 1 of his 4 touchdown passes last week against Saskatchewan. Case Stevenson, though, still wants to maintain his policy of calling the plays, saying he has been calling the plays right back to 1977 when he coached in Los Angeles in the NFL, and he had veterans like Joe Namath and Pat Hayden at quarterback. First down, Eskimos. The give again is to Troy Mills, and even though the Lions were waiting for him, he bulldozed for at least 6 yards before Herman Smith and Antonio Armstrong brought him down at about the BC 40-yard line.
How important is the running game to the Edmonton Eskimos? In their 9 wins during the regular season, they averaged 25 carries as an offense for 108 yards. In their 9 losses, that dropped to 16 carries for 78 yards. They have to have success on first down, and Troy Mills is the key.
Archer in the shotgun, flags on the play in that 2nd and 3 situation. And now there's some pushing and shoving. Looks like Johnny Scott having words down there. I think Chris Morris, the right tackle, returning fire before they break them up.
Maybe a little frustration from the front 4 for the BC defense. Call themselves the Shark Club, and they like to smell blood when it comes to a quarterback dropping back in the pocket.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 60, still 2nd down.
But Sam Shaheen there was thrown down like a rag doll. 2nd now and 9 for David Archer, who has nicely set up his play-action passing game on the runs of big Troy Mills. Archer straight back, keeps Mills in for protection. And the pass is complete, and a first down to Marcus Dowdell.
The play to Shannon Myers when he went deep that was incomplete just opened up Marcus Dowdell on that play. That time, both Mark Tolbert and Marcus Dowdell went straight hard down the field like they were going deep, and then Dowdell just hooked it up and turned around. He had about 4 yards of cushion, caught the football. If you stretch the defense deep early, you'll open up the underneath patterns.
Dowdell, who played with Archer in Sacramento, San Antonio, back from the NFL. And now the give again to Mills on first down. And once again, the Eskimos having tremendous progress on the ground in first down.
Now, the game is won and lost in the trenches, and right now the Edmonton Eskimos are winning the war in the trenches. Look at Thomas Ram to the left of your screen. Just blow Antonio Armstrong right down the line of scrimmage. Armstrong was on roller skates there. Ram blew open the hole, and Troy Mills took advantage of it.
2nd down and about a yard for the Eskimos. The ball on the BC Lions 23-yard line. Archer looking composed and in control. Straight up the gut. It's Mills, and he'll have the first down.
Spent with a tackle. 3 yards and a first down.
This is the type of ball control game that David Archer wants. We talked about his turnover problems. He has 8 interceptions on the year, all against the BC Lions, and largely due to the fact that he got into too many 2nd and long situations. But with Troy Mills running like he has been, that gets David Archer the playbook to open up and get in some 2nd and shorts.
Tony Burse has come out of the football game limping. First down, the handoff, Troy Mills. A one-man wrecking crew as he gains about 5 yards and is close to the 15-yard line, and Dave Chaters makes the tackle along the defensive line for BC. Troy Mills didn't play football last year, and look at the way he's playing here at playoff time. Dave Archer, of course, with us in the broadcast booth. Wiggins and Dowdell, who came in the 2nd half of the season, were trying to make it in the NFL, and all 4 of these men have become keys in the Edmonton offense in the late season. An offense that really clicked last week in a 46-24 win over Saskatchewan to get this home field for the semifinal. Screen pass to Troy Mills, but he'll be tracked down by Johnny Scott short of the first down.
Well, sometimes you can call the right play at the right time and just get beat by great athletic play defensively, because this was the call to make. The Lions coming on the blitz, little screen pass, but Johnny Scott sniffs it out and just with his speed runs down Troy Mills. David Archer's reacting because he knows he had the perfect call for the situation. When you get the blitz, run the screen. But Johnny Scott ran it down.
And so a promising drive will stall at the BC 13-yard line as Sean Fleming comes in to attempt a 20-yard field goal on the left hash mark. Fleming good on 85% of his field goals this year. His longest from 51 yards out. Ball is down and right through the uprights. And so Sean Fleming has done all the scoring so far in this semifinal, but this man, Troy Mills, has been a wrecking crew on the ground.
Game, recovering from knee surgery. This is Doug's first ever game in Commonwealth Stadium. The Eskimos and all of their fans wish Doug a speedy recovery.
Lions first and 10, ball at number 35. Number 23, Juan Johnson. 17 yards on the play. Benny Goods made the stop. Ball of the BC 52, first and 10 for the Lions.
Of Juan Johnson. And the first down of the game for the Lions. Allen going wide side. Alfred Jackson is open and has it for another Lion first down. Coverage from Kavis Reed, but Reed gave AJ at least 5 yards, and that's too much.
Well, this is a formation that the BC Lions want to go to in this football game if they can, and that's to isolate Alfred Jackson to the wide field on Kavis Reed. They're going to put 3 receivers into the boundary and have Alfred Jackson one-on-one with a lot of field to work with on Kavis Reed.
Jackson back from the NFL's Baltimore Ravens. The handoff to Robert Drummond, and Drummond rumbles for big yards on first down as the Lions now move deep into Edmonton territory. Dwayne Stewart with the tackle for the Eskimos.
Well, it's an interesting combination because, again, the Lions go with 3 receivers into the boundary. This time they run the ball and Drummond gets some hard yards up inside, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Damon Allen go right back and throw the ball out to Alfred Jackson in the same formation should they go to it.
Damon Allen in his 15th CFL playoff game, lots of experience. This time, Drummond runs into the back of his own blocker, Mantika, who was felled by Melvin Hunter.
Great penetration by the Edmonton front 4. I mean, these guys get great penetration right up in the middle of that defense. Watch how they just submerge and push the line of scrimmage, and Scott Hendrickson right back in the backfield, and Drummond has nowhere to go. Melvin Hunter reestablished the line of scrimmage about 4 yards into the Lions' backfield.
And so the Lions will have to settle for a 41-yard field goal attempt from Louis Pasaglia. Pasaglia is good. And so the Lions cut Edmonton's lead to a single point on a 41-yard field goal from Louis Pasaglia, who was second this year in scoring in the CFL with 197 points. Let's go down to field level, and here's Caroline Corey.
All right, Mark, well, I was talking to Louis Pasaglia before the game, and I asked him after a 22-year career if he felt like he'd lost anything. He was reticent to say, but he did confess that he feels he's lost distance. For example, a 55-yard field goal today looks like 55 yards. A few years ago, it looked maybe like 35, Mark.
That's interesting. That's interesting because, you know what, I've stood out there on the field lined up for a 55-yard field goal, and the goalposts look like a postage stamp from there. So I guess Louis just said, you know, they look like they're 55-yarders from now on.
Well, he's being all too modest. He has hit from as far out as 51 yards this season. 23 seasons in the Canadian Football League.
And having one of his best years. I mean, he's like fine wine. He just gets better with time.
I need some more for these old balls.
Those old balls, old kickers. Pasaglia with his best year since 1991. As the Eskimos get set to return this kickoff from Hank Ilisic, who began his CFL career in 1977 and came back to the Lions in the late season from his advertising job in Toronto. And there he is, the Gizmo, waiting for the kickoff. The Gizmo playing barefooted in his right shoe. He's got tape on it, but for 12 years, he's never put a sock on his right foot because he's superstitious, and I guess 26 punt returns for touchdowns.
Hey, if it works, keep with it. No question.
So it's just like a hockey player, he said. Those guys that go barefoot. Here's Olisic straight on. And it'll be the Gizmo at his own 15. With a head of speed, the Giz gets a seam, a crack, and across the 40. And good field position. Thanks to the Gizmo for David Archer and the Eskimos.
How important is Gizmo Williams to this return game? When you're talking about kickoffs, he can break one at any time. And when you're talking about punts, the Edmonton Eskimos this year, with 11 games with Henry Gizmo Williams in it, they've averaged 55 yards a game. With Giz out, that dropped to 10. He can flat out get it done. I mean, we've seen it for many, many years.
More than 10,000 yards in punt returns. The only man in CFL history over that mark. And at the age of 35, the Giz says he's not ready to quit yet as Archer is sacked for the first time. That's David Benefield, who said in the pregame he thought this team in BC still had a fragile attitude.
David Benefield working one-on-one on Chris Morris, and Benefield has really come on in the second half of the season. Because of the ability of Johnny Scott and Dave Chaters up the middle, that leaves one-on-ones with Benefield to the outside, and he can get a one-on-one. He's one of the best in the game.
Tony Burse has gone to the Eskimos locker room with a suspected leg injury. He's had hamstring problems this year. Scott Diebert is in the game for Burse. Second and long. Archer with pressure gets the ball off to Mills. Mills looking for the first down, but is tracked down about 3 yards shy of the first down marker by Knight and Armstrong in the Lions linebacking core. Troy Mills continues to be the workhorse for the Eskimos as Archer and Edmonton lead by 1. David Benefield with his 10th sack of the year as the Shark Club gets to Archer.
Well, he gets the sack on the first play. Then on second down, this is what he does. He works as a decoy. Benefield's coming up the middle. He's the decoy. Picasso Nelson from the linebacking court comes from the outside and gets some pressure on Archer. Now he gets the ball off, but they hold Edmonton short. The BC Lions defensively now are going to mix things up with their formations. Put Benefield inside and then put him on the edge and try and get some pressure that way.
Lions had 6 sacks against Edmonton in their last meeting on October 18th here in Edmonton as Sean Fleming licks his fingers and gets set to punt from his own 35-yard line. Fleming. Dave Donaldson with the return, bellying back, but there are 4 or 5 Eskimos that bring him down for a loss on that return. Troy Mills making first contact, and what a game he's having so far.
Well, 61 yards rushing for the Edmonton Eskimos in 1 quarter. That's great football, and Troy Mills is really churning up the yards right now. BC is going to go with some different formations defensively to try and counter that. But look at the time of possession. Edmonton almost double. Now that'll start to wear on that BC defense as the game goes on.
And Troy Mills' contribution, tackling on special teams and on offense. He's been their main weapon, rushing and receiving. First down, Lions deep. Allen scrambling from the rush, still has those cat-like moves and will be tackled just across the 24-yard line.
Well, with the Edmonton Eskimos going with that cover type of linebacking core with Don Wilson and Dwayne Stewart, won't be surprised to see Damon Allen do this quite often in the game, because all he needs is a little seam. If Leroy Blue, Benny Goods, or Melvin Hunter get out of their pass rush lane just a little bit, we see Damon Allen take off.
Leroy Blue, the former teammate Benny Goods, used to play with Damon Allen, 7th rated as a passer, but the league's leading rusher as a quarterback. And he's going to try again. No, this time he tries to dump it off to Drummond, who wasn't expecting the ball. It'll be incomplete. And the Lions will be forced to punt again as Greg Munns looks a little frustrated, conferencing with Huffnagel.
Well, right now, the front four for the Edmonton Eskimos, Malvin Hunter up front here and Robert Brown in the middle. They're getting good pressure, good push, and Don Wilson coming on the blitz as well. There's a good push in that line of scrimmage, and if you can get the push up front and collapse the pocket around the quarterback, you really can't see downfield. You know, they may not be as good as they once were, but they're as good once as they ever were.
Here's Pasaglia with a short punt taken by the Gizmo at center field. Tries to reverse field. Still going. Might get outside. And Robert Drummond is waiting for him. That 33-yard punt from Pasaglia is returned across midfield, and good field position for the Eskimos, who will have the ball on offense when we come back to Commonwealth Stadium. It's 4-3 Edmonton.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by TELUS. Basic human communication.
Well, there's a trainer in the midst here in Edmonton where they've enjoyed big crowds this season, an average of 33,700 for a home game.
Well, the crowd got excited about that block right there from the left of your screen. Malcolm Frank on Mike Crum. Just laid him out. That gave Gizmo Williams a little bit of room to the outside. Robert Drummond had to force him out of bounds.
First and 10 for the Eskimos.
Eskimos, first and 10 at the BC 49-yard line. Backs in the I formation. Flags on the play as Archer hands off to Troy Mills. And it looks like procedure against the Eskimos.
Well, it looked like David Archer tried to audible at the line of scrimmage.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 51, still first down.
Shamir Shaheen is going to get called for the procedure, but I think David Archer was trying to audible. Kay Stevens, although he calls the plays, he'll give David Archer the option to audible. He gets up in the line and starts audibling out the calls. Can often draw your offensive line offside.
It also looked like Archer was pulling out from behind the center before he really had the ball. Play action. Archer to Scott Diebert, who's come into the game in place of the injured Tony Hurst. But he just gets across the line of scrimmage before Dwayne Knight makes the tackle.
Well, when you get in a first and long or a second and long situation, you're going to play a lot more zone defense, and that's what the BC Lions did. Dwayne Knight just running that one down from the left of your screen. He's just going to drop and then take off out into the flat and make a good open field tackle from Scott Diebert.
And so the Eskimos go without Tony Burse in the locker room right now, nursing a leg injury. 2nd and 9. Archer in the shotgun with time, then flushed and sacked for the second time in this football game. More tremendous push from Johnny Scott and the Shark Club up front.
13 sacks in the regular season for Johnny Scott. He has just been a force in the middle for the BC Lions. He got a little help from Antonio Armstrong, who came on a stunt. It wasn't a full-out blitz. They were only rushing 4, but the 4 were Scott, Chaters, Armstrong, and Benefield. So again, there's changing up formations and giving David Archer a bunch of different looks defensively.
These guys up front have, what, 39 of the 44 sacks this year, which means they don't need to blitz if they're getting that kind of push from the defensive line.
Boy, that's a luxury every team would love.
Fleming's punt wobbly, coming down to Rod Harris at the 18, tries to roll, and he's drilled. Troy Mills, again, with another big contribution for the Eskimos, this time on special teams.
No question, these two teams don't like each other. When they get a chance to make a big hit, they're going to do it. Troy Mills delivers on Rod Harris.
Dave Donaldson, who might have thrown a block, appeared to get out of the way as Harris went down heavily.
Get out of the way of that truck.
Lookout box. First down, BC. Flags on the play as Don Wilson showed blitz.
Damon Allen staggered his snap count because he saw Don Wilson sneaking to the line of scrimmage.
Procedure, BC, number 9, still first down.
So the staggered cadence throws off his own line.
Yeah, and it can happen that way. Sometimes when you see a linebacker trying to hide up in there in disguise, you want him to declare himself, so you stagger the count a little bit. That time Damon Allen got his own guys caught.
But the Eskimos want Allen in a first and long situation. The handoff, nowhere to go. The front seven of the Eskimos have been stalwart.
Well, this is an interesting situation for the BC Lions offensively, and that's where you see Derek McCready in there to stop the run on Juan Johnson. He's done his job. He goes to the sideline. Now they'll put in the young group, or the smaller group, with Don Wilson and Dwayne Stewart in the game to help in the pass coverage. But this is a very important situation for the BC Lions. You don't want to turn the ball over down here. Get what you can and then punt it away.
No gain makes it 2nd and 15. Complete to Rod Harris. But he won't get the first down, and is gang tackled by the Eskimos, Provo and Stewart.
Stopped by Stewart.
Depends on where they mark the ball, but it looks like he will be a couple of yards short. Talk about a guy who would love to have a big game. How about Rod Harris? Released by Kay Stevenson in training camp. He would love dearly to come in here, have a great game in the playoffs, and eliminate his former coach.
Harris, a second chance with the Lions. His reception will be about 2 yards short of the first down marker, and so Pasaglia comes back in to punt again for the Lions, who are having trouble getting anything going on offense. Pasaglia with a nice punt, pushing the gizmo back inside his 45, straight ahead, and Doug Davies puts the grab on the gizmo. The Eskimos will scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 50-yard line. Again, field positioning favor the Eskimos.
It was born of royalty, crowned in glory, and has held court over some of the fiercest battles of all time. It has witnessed moments of greatness, noble men of courage undaunted in their quest for victory. It is a living testament to the spirit of our game.
Scott Diebert has been a backup for 16 games this year, and he's pressed into service in the West semifinal with the injury to Tony Burse.
Tony Burse is right here on the kickoff cover team, and watch when he takes off, he's just going to pull up right across the line, right there. Now, Tony Burse had a hamstring problem the Labor Day game. Looked like he may have re-injured that hamstring.
Here's Archer with time to the far sideline. It's complete for a first down to Brian Wiggins. All right, let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Caroline.
All right, Mark, just to update the status of Tony Burse, he's in the locker room. He has a pulled quadricep muscle. The doctor is further examining him, and they'll make an assessment at halftime as to whether he can get back in the game.
How big is that decision, Glenn, to not dress C.J. Williams today?
Well, now it becomes that much bigger. It's to see Scott Diebert, to see if he can play. I mean, his first playoff game.
Here's Troy Mills with a posse and only a gain of 2. Now the Lions are getting wise to this game plan, which Edmonton is featuring Mills.
Well, Mills is just going to hit it right off the right side of the screen here, and the key block is at the point of attack, and that's on David Benefield, who creates a pile. Now, if that's Tony Burse, he maybe get a little more yardage. Not to take anything away from Scott Diebert, but Burse has had a little more practice at it.
He's a mean, punishing back who loves to make contact, and his loss will be felt. Archer tries to hit Dowdell coming back to the ball, but it's incomplete with close coverage from one of Archer's old friends, Bo Lewis.
Yeah, of course, Bo Lewis was the guy that David Archer threw over the table just under 3 weeks ago when the BC Lions beat Edmonton here, and pretty good coverage by Bo Lewis on Marcus Dowdell. You know, with Tony Burse out of the game, that may change the game plan a bit for David Archer. He may not be quite as confident in his running game and have to go to the air a little bit more, which means that the rookie Bo Lewis and Steve Mohammed will see more balls come towards them.
And so a field goal situation for the Eskimos. The ball will be spotted just past the 51-yard line. Fleming's longest this year has been 51 yards. Kick is up. Lots of leg from Fleming. It's good. Sean Fleming, 2 for 2. And the Eskimos open a 7-3 lead here in the second quarter of the West Semi.
And it's another Thomas Mobility football in the end zone 4.
Right now, get a 28-point winter checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
Mark Nora, the Heisman, or rather the Heck Crichton Trophy winner last year in the CIAU with UBC, going out on special teams as the Lions get set to try to get some field position. They've had poor field position so far in the first half of this game.
Yeah, that return team got the lecture from Frank Smith, the special teams coach on the sideline, to start getting things going special teams wise. Try and create some field position. Frank Smith was livid on the sideline with the group, had them all huddled up, yelling in their ear and said, let's go, let's get some field position, and that'll help Damon Allen and the offense get rolling.
Frank Smith, the grizzled former coach at UBC, Vanier Cup champ himself, as Fleming kicks off. Rod Harris at his 8-yard line with speed and then nowhere to go. Brought down at the BC 25-yard line. And it's Stewart and Diebert in on the play, and this BC offense has got to get going. There's Alfred Jackson, the big weapon through the air.
Well, we saw that David Archer go deep to Shannon Myers early in the game. I think that Damon Allen has to go deep to Alfred Jackson at some point in this first half, just to make the same statement to the Edmonton defense that Archer made to the BC defense. Send the guy deep. Even if you don't complete it, you stretch him out a little bit. Alfred Jackson can go up and get it as well.
BC has been 2 and out 5 times. Their biggest series has only had 4 plays. Play action from Allen. Across the middle and knocked down. Great defense from Rio Wells, the rookie, covering Rod Harris across the middle.
There's always a question mark when you have a rookie in the lineup heading into the playoffs. No matter how they play during the game, they're going to come across the screen right here. This is the crossing pattern from Rod Harris. No matter how well the rookie has played during the season, you're never sure when the intensity's turned up in the playoffs how they'll react. And so far, Rio Wells is not only holding his own, but he's making plays.
Rookie out of Fresno State, 52 tackles during the regular season and a big knockdown there. Forcing Allen, 2nd and 10. Allen can't make up his mind and he'll run for it. And sliding for the first down. And now having a word about where the ball will be spotted. Awfully close to that first down marker. And they're going to call the chains in for a measurement.
It's very close, and I think Damon Allen wanted a late hit from Kavis Reed on the play because he hook slides, and Reed hits him anyway. He took a pretty hard hit as he went down. You see Kavis Reed kind of putting his shoulder in there, and Damon Allen trying to show the officials that maybe that was a little excessive.
Now they're going to spot him short of the first down. And sometimes it's hard to get a good spot when you slide.
Well, that's right, because your feet first and the ball goes back about a yard, but it's not a real hard hit from Kavis Reed, and a good no call by the official.
Now this is big. Big gamble here for the Lions.
64.
3rd down. Less than a yard. The ball at their own 36. As Big Dan Payne, all 300 pounds, leans in to hear the call from Damon Allen. Mons watching from the sidelines. His first playoff game as a head coach in the CFL. Allen will sneak. The Eskimos say they'll get the ball.
Well, some of the Edmonton offense is on the field already. That's how confident they are. Damon Allen kind of squirted underneath Dan Payne to the left of his formation. It's a matter of where that official puts his foot down, and they'll measure it.
Dwayne Stewart was saying it's going to be Edmonton ball. The Eskimos confident they stopped this gamble by BC.
Well, this is a big play right here.
Greg Mons looks in, taking over at midseason as interim head coach after the Lions fired Ray Down.
Get it.
And they didn't get it. Derek McCready and this big Edmonton defense stopping the third down gamble, and what a gamble on the 36-yard line of BC.
It's huge because you're in your end of the field. When you're trying that gamble, it becomes that much bigger. You got to get low. When it comes to a short yardage play, it all comes down to who gets lowest, the offensive line and the defensive line. And that time, Derek McCready and the boys got down there.
First down as Archer and the Eskimos take over on downs. Hitch pass to Don Blair with a block, and first down and more. Driven out of bounds by Dale Joseph, who inflamed the Eskimos by saying a few weeks ago that Edmonton was a fraud. The mystique was dead.
You got to get low. This is the stand. Damon Allen really has nowhere to go. He gets folded underneath. You see Rob Brown pushing Jamie Terrace right over top of him. And then that turns into this. A big offensive play for David Archer to Don Blair to the outside. And all of a sudden, the Edmonton Eskimos have huge momentum.
And a key block by Shannon Myers on the play. The handoff up the middle. Mills bounces off the first tackle and gets 5 or 6 more. Close to the 10-yard line as the Eskimos work in the red zone.
When your defense comes up with a play like that on a third down gamble, it gets everyone on the team pumped up. And Troy Mills, you can see the adrenaline flowing through his system when those knees are pumping, and 2 and 3 and 4 BC Lions can't bring them down.
Here comes the heavy team. Melvin Hunter coming in along with Jim Cooper, the backup center, and Scott Diebert as Blair comes out of the game. 2nd and 3. The Eskimos loading up. Troy Mills so far in this game, 10 carries for 71 yards, 3 catches for 28, a total of 99 from scrimmage. 2nd down and 3. The Lions load up the gaps on defense. Archer hands off to Mills. And he'll be close to the first down.
Well, again, this is going to be close. And it'll be Kay Stevenson's turn if they're short to decide what to do on third down.
And that's the indication, 3rd and about a foot.
Well, if it's that short, you almost have to go with it. You have to have confidence in your offensive line and your offense as a whole that they can pick up half a yard.
Dave Archer becoming a leader late in the season, talking personally with many players, trying to quell the internal dissent in that locker room, and he feels he's done it and just in the nick of time. 3rd down gamble. Archer with a big push from his line, and it looks like he might have it.
They're winning the battle on the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively in this first half. We talked about David Archer getting the team to rally, getting the team on his side. You know what? In this game in the first half, he also now has the fans on his side, which is probably equally as important.
It's got to be tough to be booed in your own ballpark, and Archer admitting he had to earn his place in this storied franchise, even though he was a veteran. 1st down and goal. Ball on the 6. But Troy Mills, he's got the touchdown. Troy Mills was going to get it, but still the Lions couldn't stop him.
Troy Mills having a huge game for the Edmonton Eskimos, but so is that offensive line. I talked about the battle in the trenches. Well, they are winning it, and Troy Mills waltzed in the end zone on that last play.
7-yard touchdown run by Mills. Fleming lining up for the point after. And the Eskimo offense is in high gear, taking advantage of that BC foil gamble to lead 14-3. Troy Mills, the leader of the pack for the Eskimos, following the lead of big Thomas Ryan right through the heart of this man, Johnny Scott.
Well, here's Johnny Scott. Thomas Ram's going to block it, but watch Picasso Nelson on the play, too. He gets caught too close to the line of scrimmage. Ram makes the block on Scott. Picasso Nelson can't get out of the mix and get out there to make the tackle. Troy Mills finds the end zone.
Fleming's kick coming down to Rod Harris. Reverses, and Donaldson nearly drops the ball. Marcus Dowdell was waiting and was not fooled on that reverse kickoff return by the Lions, and once again they've got terrible field position. Troy Mills' numbers, a scoring play that went 5 plays and a 7-yard run by Mills for the touchdown.
What a luxury on offense. When you're 6 yards away from the goal line, you can turn around and hand the ball off. It's a safe play, and you can have your running back punch it in, and that gets you excited, or does it? This is Kay Stevenson's reaction. Business as usual for him.
Kay Stevenson, stoic even at the best of times. Damon Allen forced to pass, the scramble from the pocket. It is tackled across the 22-yard line by Derek McCready, the run stopper, in the center of that Edmonton defense.
Well, it's really playing into the Edmonton defense, this situation now. With a 14-3 lead, Edmonton can rush 4, make Damon Allen a pocket passer because they know he's got to throw the ball more in this second half and the rest of this first half to try and get his team back in it. Playing right into the hands of the Edmonton defensive scheme.
Not what the Lions wanted. Allen passing to Harris. It goes down for the low pass. It'll be short of the first down. And again, the Lions will have to give up the ball as Greg Mons begins to look increasingly worried on the sideline.
Well, it's important right now, in my mind, for Greg Mons and John Huffnagel to stick with their game plan. Go back to using Juan Johnson in the running game more. He's not going to just go out and run those little checkoff patterns for you and be effective. What you need Juan Johnson to do is run the football on first down and pick up 5-6 yards. John Huffnagel can't panic in this situation, and he likely won't.
Johnson's touched the ball only twice so far in the football game with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Flag on the play as the Gizmo makes a move through center field. Finally tackled across the 50 to about the 45-yard line. And he's jacked up. And there's a flag on the play. More good field position for Edmonton. Henry Gizmo Williams enjoying a 21-yard punt return. And on that play, BC's backup middle linebacker Nick Richards was injured and is on the BC bench right now. He's the only backup the Lions have at linebacker.
That's right. They had to leave Raphael Robinson at home with a calf injury, so they're thin in the linebacking corps.
First down, handoff, fumble by Mills. And it'll be ruled an incomplete pass.
It looked like a little bit of a shovel pass or maybe something in between. David Archer trying to decide. Mills is going to just break back to his left, and it looked like tried to just toss it forward. Now, it doesn't matter if you throw it underhand or overhand. It's still called a forward pass, so that would be an incompletion. But it looked like David Archer was trying to decide whether or not that was a handoff or a pass, and kind of did both.
Yeah. First miscue so far in this game on the Edmonton offense. 2nd and 10. Archer in the shotgun with all kinds of time. Pump fake across the middle to Shannon Myers. Reverses field. Very close to the first down. Myers, who has played a strong role blocking, now gets the call with this pass from Archer.
They're going to run crossing routes, and David Archer has tons of time to throw the football. In fact, he has time to pump fake it, come back, reload, and find Shannon Myers coming across the field. And Myers on second effort gets it pretty close. Close enough that they're going to have to measure it.
And they'll be about a yard short.
Well, that's a long yard. I think David Archer's trying to convince Kay Stevenson to go for it because it's a little longer than he indicated.
Yeah, it was kind of like the reverse of the old fish story. He was kind of shortening that yard.
Exactly. And he is going to go for it.
Kay Stevenson with all kinds of respect and confidence in David Archer through the good times and bad here in Edmonton.
Well, the way Troy Mills has been running the football game, it becomes less of a gamble when you have a yard or just less than a yard to get it for the first down.
Archer got the last gamble with a sneak. Two men in the Eskimo backfield. Play whistled in. And Archer will sneak again. And look at the push he gets from his O-line. Bruce Beaton and Leo Groenwagen with some help on defense from Melvin Hunter and the backup Jim Cooper. And it's a first down for Edmonton with the ball at the 35-yard line of the Lions.
Well, right now, the offensive line for the Edmonton Eskimos are delivering blows, and that defensive line for BC are catching.
There you see the difference. Only 2 first downs for the Lions so far. Troy Mills off tackle left. Another first down. Finally pushed out of touch by Glenn Rogers, but not until he crosses the 20 to about the 17-yard line of Edmonton. Or rather, BC.
Shamir Shaheen in his first ever playoff game has been battling with Johnny Scott, and it has been quite a battle, and this time it's Dave Chaters, and he is saying, I don't care if this is my first game, I've come to play. He's not giving an inch to Dave Chaters or Johnny Scott, and Thomas Raham at the point of attack, blocking Herman Smith and not allowing him to get outside, opens up Troy Mills.
Shaheen, of course, subbing, making only his 3rd start in place of Jose Munoz. Heavy traffic for Mills on the first down carry. So that's a big assignment for the guard out of McGill, who was born in Beirut, spent some time in Cairo, Flint, Michigan, and Toronto en route to Edmonton.
Yeah, and when you're a rookie, Shamir Shaheen has to make a statement in the first quarter, in the first half of the ball game. You come in, you have to let the guys know across the line that it doesn't matter if I'm first year or first game, I'm here to play.
Mills is over 100 yards already in this football game. Archer steps up, across the middle for Dowdell. Touchdown! Eskimos! And Archer is mobbed by his offensive line. And now Dowdell having worked with Andre Strode, some trash talk, no doubt. Archer, though, separates them, and look at the spirit on this Eskimo football team. Something we haven't seen all year.
They have come together in a short amount of time.
Marcus Dowdell, who a month ago spent a day off in a park passing with David Archer to work on timing and trust, which is so important between a quarterback and his receiver. And the trust pays off with a touchdown as the Eskimos threaten to turn this West semifinal into a one-sided game. Fleming's convert is good. And the Eskimos open a big lead, 21-3 over the BC Lions.
Watch the domination of these 3 offensive linemen, Leo Groenwagen, Bruce Beaton, and Shamir Shaheen in the middle. Chaters, Antonio Armstrong, and Johnny Scott cannot get there. That gives Archer lots of time to stand proud in the pocket and find Marcus Dowdell. He has great sight lines downfield, time to step up and throw a strike.
Dowdell had played only 5 games this season, coming back from the NFL. And that's his 4th touchdown of the year as they mob Archer. Team unity hasn't been stronger in Edmonton.
If you project Marcus Dowdell's numbers, say hypothetically, what would he have done over the course of a full year? He gets over 1,500 yards receiving. That's the kind of impact he has made on this Edmonton offense.
Dave Archer told us the other day that during that week in which he didn't start, second last week against Calgary, he spent time talking with teammates, trying to build up a rapport. He said, you know, with a young family with 3 children at home here, he didn't spend a lot of time socializing with his teammates, and he made an effort to get to know them better, and it's paying off in this football game as Ron Harris is dropped at the 25-yard line by Philippe Gerard, and there's more pushing and shoving. Right now, the Edmonton Eskimos are playing at a different level emotionally.
Good job, good job.
Now Archer, the cheerleader for the defense.
He's going over there and shaking hands with everyone in the offensive line and talking to the defenders and the special teams guys coming off the field, and that's what a great leader does.
Damon Allen has got to get the running game going for the Lions as they start again deep in their own zone at the 25-yard line. Unable to get the rookie Juan Johnson unleashed. Forced in second and long situations. This time Johnson gets the ball and gets a first down and more. Breaks across center field. Finally, 3 Eskimos bring him down on a huge gain. But there are flags on the play.
Talked about John Hufnagel not panicking. This one may come back, but you got to keep Juan Johnson in your running game involved. There's a lot of football to be played.
And the look of dejection on the face of Johnson says it all. It is coming back, a 41-yard romp called back. Dave Beasley and Joe Paopao looking perplexed. Paopao trying to get a game plan going.
BC number 20 after the first down. First down.
Well, that is downfield. Brett Anderson. You see 20, Brett Anderson working on Rio Wells. He's got both hands around his back. That's down the field.
And it appeared to be behind the play. I mean, it wouldn't have had any consequence on Johnson. So it's 1st and 10. The ball still at the 25-yard line. Pitch pass, far side to Eddie Brown. His first catch of the game. He's elusive and very close to the first down for BC.
Brown makes the catch.
Eddie Brown, who played here last year, went to Montreal as a free agent, released there and picked up in BC. And there's Calgary head coach Wally Buono watching this semifinal as his Stampeders await the winner in the West final, and he'll be our guest, Wally Buono, at halftime with Caroline Corey.
Sitting there wondering, is it going to be another Battle of Alberta in the final? A lot of football to be played yet, though.
It's the indication here in the first half, though, as the Eskimos lead the Lions 21-3. And Eddie Brown is just inches short of the first down. It'll be second down for Greg Mons and the BC Lions.
This is an important drive for Damon Allen, although it's just winding down the first half. It's important for him to try and come away with some points. Even a field goal gets a little bit of momentum back for the BC Lions.
1:28 left in the first half. Enough time for the Lions to muster a drive here and try to close the gap on the Eskimos at halftime. 2nd and inches. He'll throw the ball to Brown. He's got the first down and more across the 45 and tackled at about the 47-yard line. Willie Pless with some help from Kavis Reed.
Now they'll get into the no-huddle offense. Damon Allen will call the plays on the line of scrimmage and try and work the clock as he's working the football down the field.
And now this will be a challenge of his field generalship, because the plays are normally called from the sideline from John Hufnagel. The ball is in Allen's hands. Pass to Rod Harris. He's got it. About 3 yards shy of the first down, brought down at center field.
Well, it's a play they've gone to a couple times in the first half, and Rod Harris has caught every one of them, except for it's always been in 2nd and long, so it really hasn't mattered. But this time on first down, it puts them in a good situation, 2nd and 3. It's a lot of plays you can run on 2nd and 3.
Dwayne Stewart and the Edmonton defense willing to give Harris a soft underneath, but not the first down. Here's Allen. He'll run. First down And out of bounds and stopping the clock at the 45-yard line of the Edmonton Eskimos. 50 seconds left in the half.
How smooth is Damon Allen running the football into the open field over here? I mean, Damon Allen, watch how he runs past the angle of 17 Dwayne Provo. Provo had the ankle and in 2 strides, Allen is outside.
50 seconds to go. Lions with 1 timeout. Damon Allen with a chance to huddle. The shotgun. Deep. Eddie Brown's open. He's got it for a touchdown.
Caught him in a blitz. Something the Edmonton defense doesn't run a lot of is full pressure, and that time Edmonton was coming with everybody. Damon Allen read it. It was blocked well up front, and he threw a strike to Eddie Brown. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming right there from the Edmonton Eskimos. Blocked up perfectly. Damon Allen sees it, and he's got Eddie Brown one-on-one with Kavis Reed, and he's 4 yards in behind him.
A 45-yard touchdown pass from Damon Allen to Eddie Brown. 2 old Edmonton teammates with BC's first touchdown of the football game. And with the convert from Passaglia, the Lions are back in it. It's 21-10 BC.
Well, it gives the BC Lions an emotional lift. I mean, you go into the halftime 21-3 and really haven't done anything offensively, and you start to doubt, you start to question yourself. But now, Greg Mons can go in there and say, listen, we had the big drive, we picked up the blitz, we executed it properly, and we hit the touchdown to close the gap. We can move the football against this defense. It gives you an emotional lift, and it gives you some confidence. You get Eddie Brown and some of your weapons involved, and all of a sudden, you're right back in it.
It was hard to see what influenced Kavis Reed on those ankles, but he was at least 5 yards back.
What's up, Robbie?
Well, Eddie Brown has run a couple of inroads and a couple of hitches, so I think Kavis Reed just settled on that shorter route, and then Eddie Brown just ran right by him.
6 plays, 85 yards, in 1:05. That drive started with 1:28 to go. And a 45-yard touchdown pass to Eddie Brown.
I keep trying to tell him, it's my field.
Well, he's done a lot, and right here in Commonwealth Stadium as a member of the Edmonton Eskimos, and he knows what it's like to play on the grass field at this time of year, and just gave Kavis Reed a little lesson. He looks like he is hurting a little bit.
Does, holding his ribs.
Yeah, getting his knee looked at as well.
Adding injury to insult there.
Boy, that would be tough loss. Even if Kavis Reed has to play the game and is playing hurt with Alfred Jackson and Eddie Brown in the wide receiver positions for the BC Lions, well, you want to be 100% if you're playing the corner.
There's a spiral kickoff from Hankelis. There's a flag on the play. As the Eskimos come up with it, Patrice Denis. Eddie Brown with 6 touchdowns in the playoffs during his career in Edmonton, and here he is again with number 7 for the Lions.
Well, last year with the Eskimos, close to 1,000 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
He was dead in the water. Now, another thing, too.
In 2 games versus Edmonton this year as a BC Lion, he's had 120 yards and a touchdown, so he loves playing against his own teammates.
He says, this is my field, Commonwealth Stadium. There are 42 seconds left to go as Eddie Brown continues to reenact that big 45-yard touchdown and then talk about what they might do in the second half with quarterback Damon Allen. Archer dumps the ball off to Troy Mills. Andre Strode misses the tackle before Picasso Nelson drags him down with the shoestring. But another gain of 6 or 7 yards for Mills on first down. Already over 100 yards on the ground in the first half for Troy Mills. 35 seconds to go. The Eskimos with a timeout. Well, trying to maneuver into field goal position.
Now David Archer going with the hurry up.
Archer, Ryan Wiggins, lots of room. And a big gain across the 50 of BC, and forced out of bounds at about the 47-yard line with 18 seconds to go in the first half. A 20-yard pass and run from Archer to Wiggins.
Well, now with 18 seconds left, David Archer just needs about 7 yards. If he gets 10, 12 yards in the next play, or the next 2 plays, he puts Sean Fleming on the field to try and get some of those points back and some of the momentum back.
Fleming has shown a very powerful leg so far in this game with 2 field goals, 2 for 2. 1 from 51 yards out. He's got the range. Archer. Comeback pass. It's complete for another first down. Dowdell coming back on the hook pattern. 13 seconds, and the clock is stopped.
Watching David Archer, he wants more than a field goal.
Dowdell has 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown so far in the first half. Timeout, Edmonton.
I think it came from the bench.
Kay Stevenson's 5 yards off the sideline.
I think David Archer was content to call a play on the line of scrimmage, and Kay Stevenson called the timeout from the bench. See, he's over there yelling for the timeout. He wants to get the timeout and get the play called.
Stevenson, who calls the plays 90% of the time, calling the timeout to have a word with Archer.
Archer had a play called and was up on the line of scrimmage ready to call the cadence.
Be interesting to see if they were on the same page. 1st and 10, Eskimos, 13 seconds left to play. Archer has been prolific through the air. 13 completions and 17 attempts for 148 yards. He's got time, is going for the touchdown, but Dowdell gets turned around as the ball sails out of bounds. Double coverage on the play from Lewis and Rogers.
But Dowdell had to work through double coverage that time.
You having fun or what?
He's having fun, and he's having a pretty good game. Watch him work. Bo Lewis is going to play the short zone, and he sees him going deep, so he's just going to go deep with him, and then Rogers comes from the right of your screen to help out over the top.
Well, Archer obviously saw that, tried to go outside, seeing the support coming from Glenn Rogers Jr. And so it is a field goal situation, the 3rd of this game for Sean Fleming. Ball at the 42-yard line.
Jimmy Kemp is the holder. Backup quarterback.
Suggesting a fake. This time they'll go for the field goal. Fleming boots it right through the uprights. Sean Fleming, 3 for 3 in field goals. And it's 24-10 Edmonton, with 4 seconds to go in the first half as the fans head for hot dogs and coffee.
Well, I was sort of hinting towards a fake, but it's a good move by Kay Stevenson. Hey, you just got scored on a big play by Eddie Brown and the BC offense, so then you come up, respond, you move down the field, and you come away with some points of your own, and that just gets that ball rolling on your side again a little bit.
Kay Stevenson and Archer discussing perhaps that play, and that looked like a Dave Archer kind of call. He likes to stretch the defense when he went deep to Dowdell.
Well, you know, the other thing, though, when you call a timeout, it gives the defense a chance to regroup. They go back in the huddle, and they say, well, wait a minute, maybe we should change things up. And BC defense made the right call and double covered the right guy in the play.
What are you doing?
Lions with 4 seconds to go. Damon Allen, the shotgun. Everybody's going deep. They'll drop it off to the far sideline to Eddie Brown. Time has run out. This will be the last play of an exciting first half of this Western semifinal in Edmonton. The Lions, Damon Allen and Eddie Brown getting closer, but it's all Edmonton in the first half, 24-10. Let's go down to Caroline.
All right, Mark Greg Mons is with me now. Greg, how badly did you need that touchdown by Eddie Brown?
Well, obviously we needed it really bad. Our offense hadn't been doing much the first half, and obviously if we're going to win, we got to do a better job offensively. We got to do a better job of tackling and not giving up big plays defensively. And it's just a matter of we just got to regroup and come out. We're only 14 points down, and we'll have to do a better job the second half.
Having a lot of success with the run, though, quickly.
Well, we had, yeah, they called it back for holding, but you know, we got to make some adjustments at halftime and come out and do a better job. I'm not happy with the effort so far.
Thanks very much, Coach. All right, we'll be back in Edmonton right after this commercial break, where the Eskimos are leading in Edmonton.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by TELUS. Basic human communication.
And welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium, where the Eskimos are ahead of the British Columbia Lions by a score of 24-10. Well, obviously, the winner of today's matchup will go on to face the Calgary Stampeders in the division final a week from today at McMahon Stadium. Wally Buono, the coach of the Stamps, joins me now. Wally, you've been watching this game. What are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it's been an excellent game, and you got to give the Edmonton Eskimos a lot of credit. They played with a lot of emotion. They played with a lot of intensity, and obviously they've come together as a football club. But you know, the BC Lions put a drive together, which put them right back into the game.
Now, let's talk a bit about your team. And how did you prepare this week without really knowing who your opponent would be in the West Final?
Well, what we did, Caroline, is we didn't prepare, actually. When we went back to training camp, we used the days to work and improving our own systems. We worked against ourselves as we would in training camp. And what we wanted to do was just do the things we do better. I really feel that it's important for us to improve as a football club. And one way to do that is to self-scout yourself and self-evaluate. We've had 3 excellent practices. They've all been in the cold and in the snow. So hopefully it prepares us also to play in that kind of weather.
Right. Now, in early October, I'd read that your quarterback, Jeff Garcia, wanted to take more control of the offense. How will you engineer your offense through the playoffs?
Well, again, Jeff has a lot of control on the offense. You know, he has the freedom to change a play on the line if he feels it's appropriate. And, you know, most of the input that we like from the quarterbacks is in the general meetings. And, you know, Jeff's done an excellent job of that. If we have to go no-huddle offense, a lot of times we'll give him the onus to call the play. So, you know, we've involved him, and I think he's responded very well.
Well, Wally, you know, just like the fans here in Edmonton, you've got tough fans there in Calgary, but sometimes the Stampeders don't always do so well in the playoffs compared to your regular season. What are the expectations from the fans and from yourself for the playoffs this year?
Well, I think the expectations from the organization and from people within Calgary is for us to be Grey Cup champions. You know, I think we have a good enough football club. We've returned a lot of veterans back for that reason, and you know, we've put ourselves in the position that we want to be. We wanted to play the Western Final in Calgary. We have the team with the best record, and obviously whoever comes out of that game there is going to have momentum. But from our point of view, the momentum that we need to have is our own intensity and our own drive. And these guys, like I say, have worked hard this week. They really have concentrated on what we wanted to get done, and you know, whoever comes down here will be prepared for.
All right, well, thanks very much for joining us today, Wally Buono, and we'll see you in Calgary at McMahon next weekend.
Well, thank you.
Well, here in Edmonton, the Eskimos are ahead of the BC Lions by a score of 24-10. The Lions engineering a tremendous comeback here late in the second quarter. We'll be back with second half analysis right after this.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the hometown Eskimos lead the Lions by a score of 24-10 in a game, Glenn, which featured a very risky third down gamble by the BC Lions deep in their own end, inside their own 40, and it failed, and it led to a touchdown, and it's been a big story.
Yeah, so far the Edmonton Eskimos are dominating the line of scrimmage both offensively and defensively, and we went for this third down gamble. The BC Lions trying to pick up about a yard, and Damon Allen doesn't get it. That gave the Edmonton Eskimos a huge lift, and they went down and scored right afterwards to get a ton of momentum on their side of the field. Here's the touchdown that resulted coming from Troy Mills, who is having a tremendous game. Mills has 138 yards and 1 touchdown in the first half alone of offense. And then Marcus Dowdell has been the #1 target for David Archer, who's getting lots of time to throw in the first half. He hits Dowdell. He's got 40 yards so far in the first half of the game. And the only thing the BC Lions can sort of cling to right now is this. Damon Allen hit Eddie Brown for the deep touchdown late in the half. That's got to give them a little bit of confidence. At least they can say at halftime, look, we can move the football.
If we're going to talk about key moves in this game, it has to be Derek McCready coming back after missing 9 weeks and really stuffing that vaunted BC run game.
Well, Derek McCready was a big part on that gamble as well. He was part of the reason that Damon Allen didn't get it. And you're right, he's done a nice job of taking Juan Johnson out of the game, but so is the score. Damon Allen has to throw the football a lot more now because he's behind.
They can't rely on the run, so what do you do if you're a BC Lion? What do you tell those guys in the locker room?
Well, I think you go back to the drawing board. I think you say, listen, our game plan was good coming in. Let's stick with it. Juan Juan Johnson's got to get involved again.
The Eskimos are 7-2 against the Lions in playoff competition, and right now they have control of the football game at the half, leading BC by a score of 24-10. Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the Eskimos lead the Lions 24-10 as we get set to start the third quarter. Troy Mills staying limber after a fantastic first half, 103 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. Let's go to Caroline now with the Edmonton head coach.
All right, thanks, Mark. Kay Stevenson is with me now. Kay, a bit of a change of momentum when they get the touchdown there with 43 seconds to go. Analyze your first half for me.
Well, I thought we played pretty well the first half. I hate that we gave them that touchdown there. They got a big play on us, but give them credit. We just got to come back and play exceptionally good football because this football team can score an awful lot of points.
Well, tremendous success with the running game on your part. How would you like to keep that going?
Well, we're going to have to. We've got to keep it going and keep the pressure off and keep our defense off the field.
Thanks very much, Kate. Good luck second half. Let's head it back to Mark and Glenn.
Thanks, Caroline. There's a look at the first half stats, and yeah, look at the rushing game, or the non-existent rushing game from the BC Lions.
Yeah, part of the problem is they're behind, so you're going to throw the ball a little bit more when you're behind, but with a whole half to play, you got to stick with that running game. When Juan Johnson has touched the football, he's had success. I think the BC Lions have to go back to it.
And balance in the Edmonton attack, 148 yards through the air, 105 on the ground, and 16 first downs. I would think that they didn't make too many changes in that locker room at the half. The game plan going according to plan. Here's Brian Wiggins with a head of steam as he picked up that bouncing kickoff from Alisic and gets the ball across the 52-yard line. Good field position for David Archer as he huddles on the Edmonton bench. Wait a minute. Jimmy Kemp is going back into the game as we look at the comparison between Dave Archer and Damon Allen, and there really is no comparison. Got to wonder why David Archer is not starting the second half after a great first half.
It's very, very interesting why they would go with Jimmy Kemp. Unless David Archer had some sort of injury. David Archer had a good first half, had the momentum, and had the guys pretty much fired up. This may be just one situation where you put Kemp in for one
procedure,
series.
51 Edmonton, still first down.
And what Kay Stevenson could do is put Jimmy Kemp in for one series, let him run, and then let David Archer watch from the sideline.
We wondered about this because 2 weeks ago, Archer did not start the game against Calgary, charted from the sidelines, had a better idea of the defense he'd be encountering, and maybe that's what's happening right now. Backfield is empty as Kent rolls right. Has time. Complete to Wiggins again. And another first down for the Eskimos. Now, the Eskimo march continuing. This was a scene earlier as Archer came out of the locker room. Appears to be in some pain, warming up. Hopefully it's not that abdominal strain that forced him out earlier in the season, coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, he definitely looked hurt when he was just throwing that little 10-yard warm-up ball. And on that last play, bad news for the BC Lions. Dave Chaters was chasing Jimmy Kemp, and he looked like he pulled up. Pulled a muscle in his leg and went right down on one knee and almost stopped walking. That would be a huge loss to the middle of that BC defense.
Chaters with his 10 quarterback sacks this season, number 2 on that BC defense that was feeding on quarterbacks throughout this season with 44 sacks.
And they're balancing out the injury situation with David Archer. Boy, if it's that stomach injury again, especially at this point, taking him out of the football game, and you know it's that much tougher when it gets cold.
Look at his hand.
Oh, he's icing his thumb on his throwing arms.
I'll tell you, about 5 years ago, I saw his thumb dislocate and the tendon injured when he was playing for Sacramento. He went back in with it taped up, and just by putting his chin strap back on, pushing on the buckle, it popped again. Troy Mills, right side. Glenn Rogers Jr. waits for him.
The ball carrier. Tackled by Glenn Rogers Jr.
And he trash talks Troy Mills. with some help from Noah Cantor, who has come into the game to replace Dave Chaters.
Glenn Rogers is trying to get his teammates on defense fired up. He comes up and stops the run, and Troy Mills, good open field tackle and bring him down, and then he talked about it afterwards. That's all he's doing, is trying to get his guys fired up, because he knows with David Archer on the sideline with the bad wrist, icing that wrist, gives the defense that much more of an opportunity to make a play with Jimmy Kemp not warm in there right now.
Usually in those situations, it's the result of a quarterback's passing hand hitting somebody in the face mask, the helmet, or the shoulder is. Kemp's passes errant intended for Dowdell, and
well, he wanted a pass interference call. It was one-on-one Dowdell on Bo Lewis. Bo Lewis is going to break on the ball, and there's a little contact just before the ball arrives, but I don't think Dowdell could have caught that one anyway. It was way too far outside.
So another field goal attempt by Sean Fleming, who has been good on 3 of 3. This one from the 51. He's already had one from the 51 in this game, and that is his longest of the season. Lots of leg from Fleming. It's wide. Rod Harris has it and will concede a single point to try to give the Lions some field position. Wide from 51 for a single. Make it 26-10 Edmonton here early in the second half. Sean Fleming sighs after missing his first field goal attempt in 4 from 51. Jimmy Kemp with the pin.
Jimmy Kemp put it down. And I have to compare kicking to playing golf. And how many times have you looked at the green, hit your golf ball, and given it a little body language to try and help it get in there? But Sean Fleming didn't lean enough.
Just wide to the left. Juan Johnson, the rookie, with the handoff from Damon Allen as the Lions try to get their running game going. Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Caroline Corey.
Yes, Mark, David Archer has a jammed thumb, evidently on and off through the season. He's jammed one or the other of his thumbs, and today he's jammed his left one. They're icing it, and they will see whether or not he can get back into the game as it progresses.
All right, that means Jimmy Kemp will stay in as quarterback, and prior to this game, he had only one pass completion in playoff competition, and that was 3 years ago for San Antonio. Right now, it's Damon Allen at quarterback as the Lions go on offense, and Allen scrambles for the first down and then steps out of bounds. Cat-like moves from the quarterback.
Well, John Hufnagel goes right back to the game plan. Run on first down with Juan Johnson. Make the defense respect that you're still going to run the football, and then come back with a little play action and a little sprint out from Damon Allen. Adam Rita, you see him in behind, charting plays right beside Joe Powell.
Well, he stayed on with the organization after being fired at midseason. They've had no less than a dozen coaches on this staff in BC, putting together this 6-game win streak coming into the West semifinal. That time, it was Drummond over the right side, crashing for 5, maybe 6 yards, and suddenly the Lions' ground game is moving.
Well, it's a credit to John Hufnagel for making adjustments. He likely made some blocking adjustments up front, as you see Corey Mantika with a great block at the point of attack on Benny Goods. That gave Robert Drummond a little bit of room, and then made some adjustments, stick with the running game and stick with the game plan.
Drummond in the Grey Cup 4 years in a row coming into this season with 3 Grey Cup rings to his credit. Play action. And that time there's a flag on the play as Allen looked for Alfred Jackson. Close coverage from Frank.
Well, Damon Allen was limping because I think Benny Goods might have rolled on him a little bit. Malcolm Frank was in the coverage on Alfred Jackson downfield. Looked like he may have been holding Alfred Jackson's right arm down so he couldn't put 2 hands up for the pass.
Here's Ken Lazarick.
Forward pass interference. Edmonton, number 10, deliberate. First down, BC.
Oh, and a big break for this BC Lions offense as they move deep into Edmonton territory.
Malcolm Frank plays the short side of the field, and he's working one-on-one with Alfred Jackson, and he held Alfred Jackson's right arm down so he couldn't lift up his right arm and jump for that football.
First down, Edmonton at the 19-yard line. Make it the 24 as they go deep to Harris. Touchdown! Damon Allen with his second touchdown pass of the game. This one to Rod Harris.
And I think old Mo just switched sidelines.
Momentum now. The pendulum flowing to the Lions.
When you give a quarterback time to throw the football, he can look to 3 and 4 reads and deliver this one for the touchdown. Damon Allen had all day to throw. Rod Harris was his 4th choice. But a good one.
Dwayne Stewart, the linebacker, trying to cover the receiver with disastrous consequences for the Eskimos. And BC is back in the game.
And this is how valuable John Hufnagel is to this coaching staff. With Hufnagel, Joe Paupow, and Adam Rita, like we saw in the booth, they go in at halftime and can make adjustments to take advantage of what Edmonton did defensively in the first half. I mean, that is an adjustment pattern. They see that they're going to have Dwayne Stewart on Rod Harris, and you know they go in at halftime and they say, listen, we've got Dwayne Stewart, a rookie linebacker covering a veteran slot back. We got to try and find Rod Harris, especially in the green zone. They come out in the second half and take advantage of it.
Joe Paupow fired at midseason as the offensive coordinator in Winnipeg, hired on in this offense by committee in BC along with Hufnagel. Adam Rita staying on. You gotta think that these guys are feeling a little bit more confident as Paupow smiles.
A little bit of a smile there from Joe Paupow, and a lot of football to play, and they're still behind, so it's only a half smile.
And an unorthodox arrangement in that Hufnagel commutes to these games by weekend.
That's right. He gets the film during the week from his home down in the States, and then he comes up a couple days before the game and starts to develop the game plan with Rita and Joe Paupow.
Now, when was the last time you saw a kicker tie up the toe of his cleat as Hank Olisic is the only man straight on?
Well, at least he's not wearing glasses this game. Get the contacts in.
It's a high one from Olisic. Dropped by Benny Goods, but he gets it back. Straight arms. Rogers finally cut down.
Benny Goods, 4 yards on the return.
Benny Goods gives the Eskimos the ball at their own 40.
Meet Cody, a member of the War Amps Champ program. Cody lost his arm in a machinery accident. Cody knows the world is full of dangers to avoid. He has a message for all kids.
Spot the danger before you play.
Play safe.
The CFL is a proud supporter of the War Amps Play Safe program.
Right into the hands of breadbasket of Dowdell, but it looked like it was tipped en route. Jimmy Kemp remaining at quarterback for the Eskimos, and his pass to Dowdell is incomplete.
Well, the timing isn't the same. David Archer was right on time with Marcus Dowdell in the first half. Jimmy Kemp has had to come in, and he's not on time. Antonio Armstrong gets his hand out there and deflects that one, but Jimmy Kemp had Brian Wiggins wide open down the field, and David Archer seeing if he can return to this football game.
Well, we've seen this before. Archer, who is a warrior, getting taped and trying to stay in. They might need him if the Lions continue to come back. Here's Kemp scrambling for his life. Drops the ball! And then the Lions have it! Dwayne Knight recovers at center field for BC.
Well, if momentum hadn't changed, it has now. Now, Jimmy Kemp did not expect to play in this game. He wasn't warm, and then when David Archer comes out and can't grip the football because that injury is on his passing hand, he has to try and get warm in a hurry. He's being chased down.
Noah Cantor, who's come into the game for Dave Chaters.
Yeah, that's right, and he gets that hand out there and knocks the ball out. I believe it was Dwayne Knight that came up with a fumble.
Big play for the backup, Cantor, the Canadian out of St. Mary's. The Lions take over at center field. Drummond with a big hole. Robert Drummond, first down territory across the 35-yard line.
Robert Drummond, 22 yards.
You know what? When you get down, when you lose momentum, you really see it in the trenches.
And it looks like they're running right at the diminutive linebacker, Don Wilson.
Well, that's right. That's where they're going to go, because Edmonton has been able to get away so far by leaving Don Wilson in the football game along with Dwayne Stewart, both small linebackers. He's been able to do it because the 4 guys up front have done a nice job against the run. But now BC's having success. We may see more of McCready.
First down, Lions at the 33. Look at the jump, and Damon Allen scrambling now. And very close to the first down, a late hit perhaps, and a flag on the play.
No question. Absolutely no question. I believe it was a safety, Trent Brown. And that is a penalty. And I don't know if Trent Brown is arguing. I don't know what he's arguing. No question, Damon Allen is going down. He is on the turf, and there's the late hit. Shoulder right into the shoulder and head area.
Unnecessary roughness. Edmonton 28. First down, BC.
Wow.
No question, that's a penalty.
And Allen was vulnerable there. You hate to see athletes going down backwards with their neck exposed and taking a late shot like that. The penalty will move the ball all the way to the Edmonton 11. First down. Stevenson works his gum. BC with 3 receivers wide left, including Drummond. Corner pattern, just out of the reach of Brett Anderson, the backup slot.
Well, one way to try and help in your pass rush and in stopping the run game is to have a stun up front, and that is to get Don Wilson involved in the blitz. He was coming on that blitz. Damon Allen read it and just couldn't hook up with Brett Anderson down the field.
Anderson starting the game as the backup to Sean Graham, who had 2 touchdowns against these Eskimos on week 16, October 18th, right here in that 31-7 win.
Damon Allen loves quarterback draw down here.
Nobody in the backfield except Allen. Pressure, rolls out and buys some time. Allen now to his left. He'll run. Touchdown! Damon Allen! And the BC Lions have come back. Greg Vaughn signaling a 2-point convert attempt. And Damon Allen receives the message loud and clear.
He wanted quarterback draw, but it wasn't there, so he started making things up on the fly. A little playground football from Damon Allen, and the bench pretty excited to watch it.
Big Noah Cantor celebrating. The offense has come back to life for BC. 25-23, the Eskimos leading with 7:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. What a turnaround for the BC Lions as they go for the 2-point convert. It's good! Rod Harris has the pass, the rainbow from Damon Allen. And this football game is all tied up. BC 25, Edmonton 25 in the 3rd quarter of the West Semi. Damon Allen, the all-time leading rusher among CFL quarterbacks, with a TD on the ground.
Well, he wanted quarterback draw. This is what the play is going to develop. Running, guys. Here's how it's going to go. Get a freezer right there. Here's the lane that Damon Allen wants to run, but Stewart will flash in front and close it off right there. He gets to the outside, starts to ad-lib, and then just does a nice job in the open field to get into the end zone.
Wow, and another rainbow kick from Hank Olesic. Couldn't have gone more than 20 or 25 yards coming down into the restraining line. It was Melvin Hunter making the catch. The previous kick was taken by Benny Goods. What's happening there?
Well, if people are wondering why Hank Olesic isn't kicking it deeper, this is by design. Hank Olesic wants to kick the ball very high. It's like an extended onside kick and have one of the bigger guys try and catch it. Here's a look at the touchdown again. Watch the open field running by one of the smoothest in the business. Right now, Damon Allen is in the zone.
Here's the 2-point convert. The rainbow pass in the back of the end zone to Rod Harris, and it's 25-25 with 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Kemp at quarterback in relief of the injured David Archer. He dumps it into the flats, and a first down as Scott Diebert puts his head down.
This
Here's another look at that unusual kickoff from Hank Illicit.
Yeah, what he's trying to do is get tons of air in it. It's basically an extended onside kick. You want to kick it about 15, 20 yards deep. Have one of those bigger guys, Melvin Hunter or Benny Goods, try and catch it. They're used to blocking in the wedge, not used to handling the football. They're hoping, BC is hoping that they'll fumble it.
Well, the Eskimos were lucky that Hunter wasn't injured on that play as he was smothered, catching it at his own 47. Handoff, Troy Mills, left side, dancing, cutting through the defense, and he's got a decent gain on first down, 5, maybe 6.
Troy Mills is having success running the football because the young linebackers for the BC Lions are getting caught too tight to the line of scrimmage. They're starting to step up in the line of scrimmage, and they're getting caught up in there, and that's why Troy Mills has been able to bounce it. You see that Picasso Nelson was way too close, and he got picked up by the center, Leo Groenwagen.
Noah Cantor looking on. He's playing for Dave Chaters. Troy Mills, 112 yards on the ground so far. He gets it again, and that time Cantor was waiting for him.
Big play from Noah Cantor. A backup coming in for Chaters. That's going to force Edmonton to punt.
Former Toronto Argonaut signing as a free agent with the Lions this year.
Well, he just slices down, and he beats the block right there of Shamir Shaheen to the inside. He just uses speed to get there, and Troy Mills has no shot.
So after the big first down play by Mills, the defense holds. It'll be 3rd down. And Sean Fleming will attempt another one. This will be his longest attempt of the game. He'll spot the ball at the 53-yard line. He has one from 51. Good on 3 of 4 so far. Kemp to hold. Fleming with time. He's got the distance. No good. And Fleming misses from 53 yards out.
He can't believe that. He hit the upright.
That's how close it was. He had the distance. The ball goes off the upright.
And a lot of times the kicker, because of the way that ball is rotating, will get the bounce. It'll deflect off the upright and go in, but that time it didn't.
So there will be no point for the Eskimos, and it's still tied.
Closed captioning for this program brought to you by Crown Royal. When you think of the ultimate whiskey, think Crown Royal.
Sean Fleming, 3 for 5 in field goals, but some gallant attempts from way out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Case Stevenson tried a field goal from that far out. You punt the ball and angle it to the sideline, maybe you get better field position, but elected to go for the field goal.
Dead ball off the goalpost means the Lions scrimmage from the 25. And Melvin Hunter upends Robert Drummond in the backfield. He might get one.
Well, Juan Johnson is a rookie tailback, well documented what he has done as a ball carrier, but he's got some work to do as a blocker. Tried to go for the cut block, and Melvin Hunter just jumped over it and was in the backfield.
That's why Hunter was nominated as the most outstanding player and most outstanding defensive player this year in Edmonton. Calling the signals on defense. 2nd and 9. Shotgun formation. Damon Allen to the sidelines. No good.
Malcolm Frank was very close to taking that one the other way. Damon Allen waited a little too long to throw that football, and then Alfred Jackson slipped. And when your receiver slips, it's nothing but trouble. And Malcolm Frank was about a half a yard away from taking that one to the house.
Prior to this series, the Lions had scored touchdowns on their previous 3 offensive series, and so they cooled a little. Pasaglia to punt from his 15. A spiral taken by Brian Wiggins across the 45 and gets very close to center field on a 44-yard punt by Pasaglia. The Eskimos go on offense with their backup Jimmy Kemp when we come back. It's as close as it gets in this West semifinal. Let's go down to the sidelines for the latest from the BC sick bay. And here's Caroline.
All right, Mark, just to update what's going on with Dave Chaters. He's out of the game. He has back spasms. He actually has a history of back problems, specifically the back spasms. So simply put, his back has seized up on him, and he's no longer in the
hasn't taken the bite out of the Shark Club with backup Noah Cantor filling in superbly. Play action. Kemp. Oh, what a hit! Looking for Shannon Myers, and he's drilled by the rookie, Steve Muhammad.
Oh, boy. Steve Muhammad came off his man. Shannon Myers had no idea he was there, and he still doesn't know what hit him.
Myers shaken up on the play.
He's still down.
Steve Muhammad is playing like a veteran in his rookie year. Comes off his man, and look at the hit right in the ribs. Listen to this contact.
Wow, that kind of sounded like a crunch, like ribs. Oh, boy. Muhammad, the leading man in interceptions this year with 10 for 165 yards, and the rookie of the year candidate in the West.
Jimmy Kemp had no idea that Muhammad was involved in that play. And he doesn't want to lay his receiver out like that very often, or he's going to run out of receivers.
He looks like he was mad that Myers couldn't hold on to the ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wanted the first down, no question, but he doesn't want to leave his receivers hanging like that too often. He didn't see Steve Muhammad come off his guy and sit there waiting for Shannon Myers to try and catch that football.
So Jimmy Kemp stays in as Archer stays on the bench with an injured thumb on his throwing hand. 2 for 5 so far. Coming into this game, he had thrown only 1 completion in playoff competition. He's green in the playoffs. There, he's on the mark. Scott Thiebert across the 50-yard line, but it'll be short as Picasso Nelson makes the tackle.
Well, you notice with David Archer out of the game, all of a sudden the running game has disappeared, and so is the spark in this Edmonton offense. This is a huge loss for the Edmonton Eskimos, because David Archer, not only was he playing well to finish the season his last 2 games, but he seemed to have the team rallying with him in the first half of this game, and now he can just sit and watch from the sideline.
Archer charting for Kemp now. The 2 quarterbacks beginning to do that more intensely in the last few weeks of the season, helping each other pick up the defensive keys and reads. A high end-over-end punt from Fleming, bouncing down to the goal line. Fleming's running as Donaldson picks it up and concedes a single point. And so Edmonton breaks the tie with that punt single from Sean Fleming. It's 26-25.
Yeah, he breaks the tie, but it's a good move for Greg Mons to have Dave Donaldson concede the single point.
55-yard punt single from Sean Fleming of Edmonton.
Right now, get a 28-point winter checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
The offensive brain trust of Edmonton, Kay Stevenson and Dave Archer, injured, trying to plot their next series as Allen goes to work for BC, looking for Rod Harris, no good.
Allen got rushed by Benny Goods. Got some penetration up the middle, and Allen had to throw off his back foot. Really didn't get a lot on that pass, so Rod Harris didn't have an opportunity to come up with it.
Looks like the Lions continue to go after that matchup of Harris on Don Wilson, who is nursing sore ribs. 2nd down and 10. BC Lions at their own 35-yard line. 2:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. Allen deep. He's got Eddie Brown open, but overthrows him. Dwayne Provo with the coverage, but downtown Eddie Brown got behind him.
Well, he got behind him, but Dwayne Provo very subtly grabbed Eddie Brown's shoulder pad and held him up just long enough, and before the officials were going to see it, comes up here to the right of your screen. Now, just as he's going down the seam, you're not going to see it, but he just put his right hand on the shoulder pad of Eddie Brown. That made him hesitate just a split second. He couldn't get to the football.
Brown was just 2 strides short. Passaglia to the gizmo at the 40 to the 45, stacked up by Dave Donaldson as he gets to the 50-yard line. Once again, the Eskimos will start with great field position. It was a 35-yard punt from Passaglia. 2 weeks from now, we will be in Winnipeg. Our coverage of the 86th Grey Cup beginning with Grey Cup Saturday. Countdown Fan Club, we invite you to join Chris Walby and me for that. And then from the big day itself, countdown to kickoff beginning at 3:30 Eastern, and the big game at 5 Eastern. Here's Troy Mills. Nowhere to go on first down. Gains maybe 1. Mills has been the workhorse on this Edmonton offense, with Benefield and Andre Strode sniffed that play out. 113 yards, 35 through the air, and a touchdown.
Picasso Nelson is having a rough game from the linebacker position for the BC Lions. He's being held, he's getting too tight to the line of scrimmage, and he's having troubles chasing down Troy Mills in this running game.
So far, Kemp has had 2 missed field goals and a fumble in 3 possessions. Now he's flushed from the pocket, throws it out to Wiggins. He's got it, looking for blocks, bellies back, and is trounced for a loss. Wiggins trying to make something out of that broken play. The loss will be about 4 yards. 3rd and 14 in a punting situation.
Watch the move by Johnny Scott on the rookie, Shamir Shaheen. Watch this. Look at the swim move. Right hand to the shoulder pad, left hand over, and he is in the backfield. Kemp has no chance. Just dump it off and try and make something out of it. Brian Wiggins can't come up with anything, but you get a pass rush like that, it's tough to get anything done offensively.
Well, the Lions, with so much push from their front 4, don't really need to blitz, but when they come, look out, they pin their ears back. Fleming gets that one away, taken by Dave Donaldson. Wow, and he is buried by a host of Eskimo tacklers on that 39-yard punt. No gain on the return as Hunter celebrates the swarming from the Eskimos.
Are you talking about Melvin Hunter and question marks as to whether or not he is too old? Well, 13 sacks in the season, having a great game here in the playoffs, and not only that, but he's going to cover punts and make tackles for you. He's still got some great years left in him.
The Lions go on offense. Hunter comes off for a breather. Benny Goods lines up about 1.5 yards off the line of scrimmage as the Eskimos show a 5-man front trying to stop the run. Here's the bootleg, a great play-action fake from Allen as he slides into first, very close to first down territory.
This is what having a great tailback will do for you. Watch the naked bootleg by Damon Allen. He has the option here. Juan Johnson going to go here. Watch the influence the defense. Watch how they suck over to Juan Johnson. Right down there, and Damon Allen's free. He has the option to give Johnson the ball or take it himself. It's up to him.
The Eskimo defense covering all 6 gaps, but there's a 7th when you've got a running quarterback like Damon Allen. 2nd down and less than 1 yard. Their own 35, the hand up to Drummond, and he's got it. Robert Drummond up through the middle and running into Benny Goods. On the last play of the 3rd quarter, in a 1-point ball game, the Eskimos leading the Lions 26-25.
Well, the clock says 0, but Greg Mons would like to have a couple seconds back, and the officials are going to put it on. So he's got one more play before the end of the 3rd quarter.
So 2 seconds go back on the clock. First down, BC at their own 35. Play action. Allen slips. Looks for Eddie Brown coming back to the ball, and he drops it. Eddie Brown had it, and he had the first down as he gets help to his feet from Hank Halisic. 1 point. That's the margin. Edmonton leading the Lions as we make the turn for the 4th quarter. Back in Edmonton, where Damon Allen is looking a lot like the quarterback who won the '93 Grey Cup with the Eskimos. 8 straight wins, not unlike the 6-game streak he's on now. And here he is in 1993 at Calgary with the touchdown pass to Jim Sandusky, celebrating with Ron Lancaster and his child. And the Eskimos win the cup, and the Sandman is looking on again.
There's Jim Sandusky in the back of that crowded booth for the BC Lions. Their coaching staff goes over the game plan and tries to get ready for this fourth quarter.
2nd and 10 for the Lions. Ball at their own
2nd down and 10. Damon Allen, there are his numbers. Cooling just a little in the second half. 6 receivers downfield. Pressure. Allen still up. Finally tracked down by Melvin Hunter. But Allen can't get back to the line of scrimmage. BC will punt.
The Edmonton defense is solid on 2nd and long. Benny Goods is going to get first contact. He can't get him down. Melvin Hunter is going to clean it up. They just went with the 4-man rush, 8 in coverage. Damon Allen had time, but no one to throw to. And sooner or later, that front 4 is going to get there.
Allen frustrated. Loss of 2. And the punt from Pasaglia is nearly blocked. And it'll roll out of bounds at the Edmonton 40-yard line. The Eskimos go on offense when we come back to Commonwealth. It's 26-25. Edmonton's leader, David Archer, frustrated and on the sidelines with an injured thumb. His team leading by just 1 point. The third quarter stats, Glenn.
Well, it's evened out quite a bit. I mean, the BC Lions catching up in the time of possession. They started to get some ground game going, 122 yards so far in this game. Robert Drummond's picked it up, and Shannon Myers back in the game for the Edmonton Eskimos after that big hit from Muhammad. He's back out there.
It's amazing. He's tough. Handoff. Oh, Mills is drilled and loses the ball. Oh, man. Benefield sticking him right in the numbers. The Lions say they have it.
They're saying 2nd down Edmonton.
Wow.
What a hit from David Benefield. Listen to the contact here. And that ball was out. That ball may have been on the ground. That ball was out before Troy Mills hit the ground.
Greg Mons is furious as they keep the ball with the Eskimos. A 2-yard loss, 2nd and 12. Kemp with time. It's picked off. There's a flag on the play. Glenn Rogers Jr. has the ball. Nobody's touched him, and he's gone. Kemp in vain can't catch Glenn Rogers Jr. as he returns the pick for a touchdown, but there are flags on the play. A 48-yard interception return.
Number 16, decline.
What a turn. They're going to say holding Chris Morris, which of course be declined. That's a BC Lion touchdown.
So they don't get the first turnover, but they get a big one the second time around.
Well, Greg Mons will slow down the argument on the fumble from Troy Mills, which I thought was a fumble because Glenn Rogers comes up with the interception and no one touches him. So Greg Mons will say, hey, remember that Troy Mills thing? Forget about that. We'll take this one.
Glenn Rogers with his 2nd interception return for a touchdown in playoff action. And he comes back to haunt his old teammates in Edmonton.
What a turn of events to have the Edmonton Eskimos get lucky.
2-point convert. It's complete. Juan Johnson, the rookie, celebrates. Hasn't been much of a factor in this game, but he gets the 2-point conversion.
Well, I was going to say, it's amazing. The Edmonton Eskimos get lucky on the fumble and then turn around and throw the pick in the next play.
Key 2-point conversion now. That puts BC ahead by a converted touchdown.
Well, here's the first one now. Was this a fumble or not? I mean, here comes David Benfield. That ball is out and on the ground. That was a fumble. The BC Lions did not get that one. Then they turn around and say, okay, well, we didn't get it that time. And Jimmy Kemp throws the ball down and low. And a great read by Glenn Rogers. Now, no one touches him. You have to touch him when he's down. He gets up running and finds the end zone.
So the Lions, another big turnover. And a touchdown, and they take the lead for the first time in this football game with 13:04 to go in regulation time, up by a converted touchdown, and you have to wonder what's going through the mind of Kay Stevenson.
You know, in fairness to Jimmy Kemp, he has to throw that ball on time. It was just a great read by Glenn Rogers, but what a turn of events.
Hey, and turnovers, points off turnovers for the Lions, 16 in the second half. The Gizmo taking the kickoff at his 15. Crowd cheering him on, but he has no place to go and is brought down by Antonio Armstrong at the 30.
Great players play their best games in big games. Glenn Rogers has been the all-Canadian at the halfback position before. He plays best when the game is on the line, and right now Glenn Rogers may have come up with the play of the game.
You got to wonder why Kemp threw that pass. His receiver had fallen down and the ball was delivered late. And on the sidelines looking on, David Archer.
Can only wonder what might have been.
And you know he'd be back in this game if he could.
No question about it.
So again, Kemp goes to work. Sidearms it to Marcus Dowdell. He's hit hard. Looked like Dwayne Knight coming in along with Bo Lewis. Gain will be 5 yards.
The difference momentum will make. Now it's the defense for the BC Lions that's flying around. That was a gang tackle. First of all, Kemp's not going to have a whole lot of time to throw this ball. Like, he has to pull it down because he's got a guy in his face. Once he gets it off, watch the guys. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a team meeting over at Dowdell. Now the BC Lions are flying around.
Lewis low, Knight high. Points from turnovers so far, and that tells the tale. Kemp with time. Into traffic. Bounced off Shannon Myers and was nearly picked off again by Dale Joseph.
Well, Shannon Myers didn't see the ball coming. That ball bounced off his shoulder pads. He was busy fighting down the field to try and get open. Because he was occupied by the defensive backs, it was Picasso, Nelson, and Dale Joseph on the coverage. By the time he turned around to get up, he couldn't get his hands up in time, and it bounced off his shoulder pads.
And so the Eskimos will punt again in the second half. That is 7 failed series with Jimmy Kemp at the helm. Fleming with a nice high sky hook. Taken by Dave Donaldson, and then he's railed back to his 40. There's a flag on the play, and it looks like it'll be no yards. So, the Lions lead.
Loaded.
Back in Edmonton, the Lions lead by a converted touchdown, and they have great field position after Trent Brown was called for no yards.
Yeah, Trent Brown is going to get called. He's right there. He gets tripped by Derek Lewis. Goes down and is in the 5-yard neutral zone when Dave Donaldson catches that football. He got the late hit on Damon Allen early. That was a bad penalty, but that was a penalty he really couldn't help.
First down, ball at the 53 of Edmonton. Hand off underneath to Wong Johnson. And the Eskimos scouted that play.
Well, this is where you want a running game. You have a lead late, midway through the fourth quarter. You want to be able to run the football, take time off the clock, and put a couple first downs together. And that was the dynamite play, whatever that is.
John Hufnagel at the controls of this BC offense. A weekend warrior coming in on weekends from New Jersey to call the shots. Damon Allen, pump fake, going deep down the far sideline. Eddie Brown's open, and he's got it! Touchdown, but there's a flag on the play. And Leroy Blue says it's coming back for holding.
51 yards.
Here's the call from Ken Lazarick.
Holding, BC, number 64. Second down and repeat it.
Mo Elowanibi was working on Leroy Blue on the play. Leroy Blue was the first guy to signal that there was a holding call. Mo Elowanibi is the tackle right there. He's working on Leroy Blue to the outside, and it's a takedown.
Is it ever? And that snuffs out a 51-yard touchdown pass to Eddie Brown, which may have sealed this game. A break for the Eskimos. They'll move the ball back. inside BC territory to their 49. Second down repeated. Allen wants to go deep again. Ron Harris is open. He's got it. He drops it. It's no good.
He's complaining that he had it and hit the ground, and the ground made him fumble. The ground cannot make you fumble the football. Rod Harris wanted to make the complaint that he had the ball in the air. Here's another look at it. Rod Harris has the ball there. Now, does the ground pop it out?
Yes.
It does. When he hits the ground, that ball pops out. He has possession when he's in the air.
20 and 3.
And so 2 deep strikes by the Lions are wiped out.
Another missed call by the official hurts the BC Lions.
Pasaglia will punt. Big rush. Just gets it off to the sidelines. The Gizmo will get his hands on it at the 25. Twists.
Let's go.
Dave Donaldson will bring him down right in his tracks.
I know you're pitching. I know you're coming.
So 2 big, deep plays wiped out by a penalty and a questionable call.
Take another look at this. Now, he is in the air. Rod Harris. Greg Mons wants to go back to that Rod Harris catch and ask, did he not have possession?
Winning number in 273-231.
Harris looked like he had the ball stuck in his gloves and then lost it as he hit the field. Play action pass now. Kemp wanted to go deep. Is flushed out of the pocket. Pursuit now from Benefield. Gets away from him and Cantor, and then slides out of bounds.
This is what Jimmy Kemp's going to have to do. He's going to have to move the pocket around. He hasn't had success as a drop-back passer. Rod Harris still can't believe he didn't get that catch. Here it is again. He has possession right now. Hits the ground, and the ball comes out.
That could have been a fumble, not an incompleted pass.
Exactly.
But Harris will not get it. Second and short. 3 yards as Johnny Scott glares at the Eskimo offense. Shotgun formation for Kemp. He'll pass into the middle. Shannon Myers has it in traffic. What a gutsy catch. And a first down for the Eskimos. It looks like if the Eskimos are going to come back, it's going to have to be Jimmy Kemp. 18 yards on the pass from Kemp to Myers.
This is a big catch for Shannon Myers. When you consider that he was knocked out of the football game on a hit from Steve Muhammad, regrouped, got back in the game, and then went hard into the middle and catch the football. I mean, that takes a tremendous amount of courage at the best of times.
2 catches since that horrible accident, that horrible collision for Myers for 27 yards. Play action bootleg. They're waiting for him. And Jimmy Kemp fumbles.
Herman Smith was not buying the play action by Jimmy Kemp.
Herminator, number 91. A late cut from Dallas in September. Waiting for Kemp along with Benefield.
Disciplined football from Herman Smith to keep his responsibility with it, which is contained. Stay upfield. Kemp turns around, has nowhere to go.
And luckily, Troy Mills was there to recover that fumble. Second down. And long. Kemp, big rush, steps up, there's a flag. Dumps it off to Mills across center field. But flags are down. Gain is 13. About 5 short of the first down marker.
Well, Johnny Scott ended up face down on the grass. I believe he was working on Bruce Beaton. Now, I'm not saying that's the call, but Johnny Scott is just
holding Edmonton, number 62, second down repeated.
Okay, that is the call.
Bruce Beaton gets the call.
Yeah, he was working on Johnny Scott, and he did the watch 72 go right up the field here. Bruce Beaton gets beat to the outside, so he pulls him down, puts him right on his face. Good call by the official.
And so the line of scrimmage moves all the way back to the 32-yard line. Second down and 28 for Jimmy Kemp from the Eskimos. Big push from the Shark Club. Kemp over the middle to Don Blair, who finally factors into this football game. But he'll be shy of the first down by 6, nearly 7 yards, a 21-yard catch. So they'll be 7 short.
It's short of the first down, but it's a big play for the Edmonton Eskimos because it's going to be a whole bunch of field position after they punt the football.
Don Blair with his 3rd catch of the game, now with 46 yards. Case Stevenson's #1 quarterback, David Archer, is on the sidelines with an injured passing hand. Fleming to punt. Dave Donaldson chasing it, but it'll bounce out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
21-yard punt.
And so the Lions offense comes on the field as Fleming is not too happy with his production on that punt. Damon Allen has been prolific. 2 touchdown passes, another called back, and he's run for 1. David Archer has been frustrated, generating 24 points in the first half, and then not being able to come back after halftime with an injured passing hand. Jimmy Kemp has mustered but 2 points in the second half for Edmonton. Play action. Good fake. Allen going deep to Rod Harris. It's tipped and intercepted. Dwayne Stewart has the ball and returns it deep, and there are flags on the play. And they are all over the field. I count 3 flags down. Ken Lazarick sorting out the call. His flags flew on that play.
Legal block, Edmonton, #40, first down Edmonton.
Well, a break for the Eskimos to get the pick, but then they shoot themselves in the foot as Goods gets called on a legal block, and the ball moves back to the 52 of BC.
They've taken advantage. BC has of Dwayne Stewart in coverage. Here's the play. Damon Allen throws it deep to Rod Harris, and it's Dwayne Stewart that comes back, gets his hands on it, deflects it in the air, and then comes up with the interception. Benny Goods down the field is going to get the illegal block in the back on Brett Anderson.
Play action. Kemp to the sidelines and complete to Dowdell for a first down. Kemp, it seems, buoyed by the defense. A 19-yard pass reception to Dowdell.
It's a good outcut, a good break to the out. Look to the inside and then slide to the open area to the outside. Derek Lewis has to play inside position and is too late getting out there.
First down. Edmonton at the BC 35. Pitch pass to Don Blair. He's got some blocks. Across the 30 and driven out of bounds by Steve Muhammad, the rookie.
Johnny Scott is slow getting up, and they may have to come out for him. Now, with Dave Chaters out of the football game, Johnny Scott is holding his right hand.
Johnny Scott,
he may have the way they're looking at it right now, it may be a dislocation. They're trying to put it back in place.
Oh, those are painful.
Now, this is a situation for the BC Lions with Dave Chaters out of the ball game. Johnny Scott now has to leave for at least 3 plays. That means that their only opportunity now is to bring Nick Richards, who was injured early and is playing hurt. He has to come up and play on the defensive line because they don't have anybody else. So now it'll be Nick Richards, Benefield, Noah Cantor, and Herman Smith up front.
Cantor and Richards, 2 Canadians now coming in to fill the center of that Shark Club with the loss of Chaters and Scott, the 2 most deadly members of that BC defensive line. Second down and 3. Mills has the ball, and he has a first down. Yeah, run right at it. I mean, that's what you're going to do if you're Edmonton's offense right now. You are going to run right at the replacements. Nick Richards
weighs 240 pounds, but is a linebacker playing beside Noah Cantor in the middle, and that's right where you're going to run the football.
Mills with 122 yards on the ground, and they're still working on Big Johnny Scott on the BC defense. They need him back. First down. The handoff to Mills. And he's dropped by the middle linebacker, Armstrong.
Now, one way that the BC defense can adjust is to try and send pressure. Send the linebackers, Antonio Armstrong, Picasso Nelson. Try and cancel gaps. But if you do that, you're taking a chance because you're one-on-one in coverage in the back end. And that's when you can get beat for that one big one over the top.
Edmonton threatening on offense for the first time in the second half under backup Jimmy Kemp. 4:20 to go in the football game. They're down by a converted touchdown. 2nd and 6, Kemp. Airs it to the end zone. He's got it! Touchdown, Brian Wiggins! Wiggins with post coverage from Rogers, and Joseph comes down with the ball. And Commonwealth comes alive for the Eskimos. Brian Wiggins with his first touchdown for the Eskimos this year. And what a big one it is. With the convert, it's all tied again. 33. That's all time, baby. Wiggins and the Eskimos come back.
Mark, we talked about the play. One way to try and cancel when you got some backups in there is to send pressure. That's exactly what the BC Lions do. Dwayne Knight's coming. Benefield's in there. Kemp gets some protection, decides to throw it up, and Brian Wiggins wins the battle for the football with Glenn Rogers.
Great offensive effort. Look at that battle. And Rogers can't believe. And on the Eskimo bench, finally something to cheer about in the second half. And don't forget, it was all set up by Dwayne Stewart's interception of Damon Allen.
Well, it's a battle for the football. Glenn Rogers gets a little far upfield and can't come back. Brian Wiggins fights for it and comes out with it.
I thought Rogers gave up on that play.
Well, then he turned around looking for a penalty. But both players have equal right to the football.
The former Calgary Stampeder, Brian Wiggins, coming to the aid of his Eskimo ball club.
Get it up, baby! Get it up! Get it up!
There's lots of time. And now it's Damon Allen's turn with the football.
Hey, man, he was holding the hell out of me, man!
Glenn Rogers Jr. Burned by Wiggins for the game-tying touchdown. It's 33 all. As Fleming kicks off. It's dropped. Picked up again. Simon Defoe losing it, then regaining the ball in a scary moment for the Lions. Allen coming back in the game.
Well, here's how the Edmonton Eskimos put that drive together. It starts with the big interception by Dwayne Stewart. He gets possession of the football. Then they take advantage of some substitutions by running it, and Kemp reads the blitz and lets Brian Wiggins battle Glenn Rogers for the touchdown.
My, how the circumstances have changed. Here's Drummond right through the middle for a first down. And so the Lions, who were rather daring going deep with the lead, go back to the ground after losing the lead.
They come out firing and they're running the football. Good blocks at the point of attack. Drummond bounces to the outside, and it's Willie Pless who has to try and pull him down.
3:06 and counting left to play in the West semifinal regulation time. It's all tied at 33. Again, the give to Drummond, and he's stuffed. The will be short. Johnny Scott injured and a bystander in a terrific West semi. The Commonwealth Stadium crowd of 26,000 standing for the defense, just like the old days when Kepley ruled. Second down and 7. Damon Allen can barely hear himself think as he comes up behind the center so that the offense can hear his cadence. Back to pass. Time. Right down the middle and nearly picked off again. Willie Pless very close to that one. Eddie Brown, the intended receiver, and it's a punting situation for BC with 2:42 to go.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos are going to get the football back, but they very nearly came up with a huge interception, because if Willie Pless catches that one, he is still running.
Wiggins and the gizmo back as Mons looks on. The interim head coach in his first ever playoff game as the head man in the CFL. Pasaglia will angle it to the sideline. The gizmo will get it on the run over the 30, to the 35, and then he runs into traffic, but doesn't go down. An inspired effort from the gizmo on a short 28-yard punt from Pasaglia. Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Caroline Corey.
Yes, Mark, defensive lineman Johnny Scott has a dislocated pinky. They have put it back in, and he is expected to step on the field now.
He is on the field as you speak.
You talk about warriors. You look at that jersey. Look at that guy.
The blood all over his pants.
Blood all over his jersey. Dislocated finger. They put it back in place, and he's lining up for the next play.
A member of the Shark Club. They smell blood. Kemp in the shotgun. Hands off. Mills knocked off his feet.
Oh, man. Guess who makes the tackle?
Johnny Scott.
Unbelievable. With one arm. I mean, you talk about the heart and soul of your football team. Johnny Scott gets his finger put back on, gets back in the game, and knocks down Troy Mills on a running play with one arm.
265 pounds. The big man from Austin, Texas, is back in the game. Bloodied and injured, but still playing. Here's Kemp. It's tipped at the line. That's Noah Cantor, the Canadian backup.
The fans want a pass interference, but when the ball is tipped, it's waved off. Bo Lewis did make contact, but it'll be waved off because the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Noah Cantor. This is the throw. Noah Cantor just gets a fingertip on it. Once it's tipped, you can go ahead and make contact downfield. So Derek Lewis is going to make contact on Marcus Dodell, and it's a good no call by the official.
Noah Cantor, a perennial backup, a special teams man, filling in for the injured Dave Chaters in a big way. Here's Fleming's kick. High. Spiral. Coming down to Rod Harris at the 28. Sidesteps the first pursuit and is dropped at about the 35-yard line. And that's where the BC Lions will scrimmage after a 42-yard skyhook from Sean Fleming.
When you want to play professional football, everything you do is geared to this moment. You lift weights, all the work you do in the off season, all the running and all the lifting weights, all the work through the regular season, playing injured, it all comes down to this.
All David Archer can do is stand and watch. His passing hand injured. Damon Allen in his 15th CFL playoff game. He's got the savvy and experience. 1:55 to go in the game. He's going to try and run, but he's dropped. A gain of maybe 1 yard. First down. Leroy Blue and Derek McCready, the run stopper on that one.
Well, what they did is they dropped Robert Brown into coverage. Really changed things up, something Damon Allen has not seen all game. Robert Brown, number 92, is going to fly out in coverage to the right of your, or left of your screen. Damon Allen looks out there and he's going to run it into the hands of Derek McCready.
Robert Brown, 258, defensive back on that play. Deep goes Allen for Eddie Brown. There's coverage.
on the field was Kavis Reed, and Provo got depth, took off, and when David Allen threw this one, was in good position. This ball had to be a perfect throw up and to the outside, and Provo was right on the hip of Eddie Brown, and believe me, Eddie Brown's got some speed.
So the offense is suddenly stalled as Pasaglia punts a beauty, driving the Gizmo back and back inside his 25. The Gizmo with a shift and dropped at about the 39-yard line by Dave Donaldson from the University of Manitoba. A 52-yard punt from Pasaglia as field position becomes paramount with a minute 12 to go.
This is where the committee will get together on the sideline. David Archer, Kay Stevenson,
Jimmy!
Stevenson trying to get the attention of Kemp, but can't. A minute 12 to go. BC 35, BC 33, Edmonton 33.
With a minute 12, there's plenty of time. You don't have to force the ball down the field. You can nickel and dime it. You can keep the running game involved a little bit. There's still lots of time to put a drive together.
Shotgun formation. Kemp. Flat pass to Scott Feeble. He's got it and close to a first down. 1:06 to play.
That's what I'm talking about. No need for Jimmy Kemp to throw the ball downfield and force it. Dump it off to the backs. Run the ball a little bit. Churn up the last bit of the clock and then kick the winning field goal.
Measurement on the play. They need a field goal. They need to get into field goal range. And we've seen Fleming good on 3 of 5, the longest from 51. Crowd chanting in rhythm now. The Eskimos will be just shy. Kemp getting the signals from Kay Stevenson. Trying to nurse the Eskimos back in relief of Dave Archer.
He's trying to get a call in late right now to Jimmy Kemp. They've changed their mind on the sideline. They're trying to get a call. Now Kemp's going to come over and make sure he's got it straight.
Dwayne Knight is down on the field for the BC Lions. And that might be just the time that Edmonton needs here to have a conversation on the sideline.
Well, this is interesting now for the BC defense. Well, they talk on the sideline. The BC defense is scrambling to find the personnel. Now, Mike Crum, the backup safety, has come into the football game, number 37, with Dwayne Knight out and Nick Richards playing some defensive line. They are very thin on defense.
Well, here's our Sunday night primetime lineup on CBC. It's Emily of New Moon. Then a star-studded cast performs the Beatles hits in My Life, George Martin. And singing her greatest hits, Canada's Joni Mitchell, taking center stage here on CBC television. It all ends with undercurrents at 10:30 and Wendy Nicely. But right now, temperature is rising for this man, Sean Fleming, with 1:06 to go.
Right now, Sean Fleming is visualizing the kick. He's going through it in his mind, and no matter where it is on the field, he's making it in his mind over and over and over again, so when he gets on the field, it's automatic.
Clock is ticking, now less than a minute to play. The gamble, and it looks like the Eskimos will have the first down across their own 50-yard line. How far do they have to get, you think, for field goal range?
Well, they're going to want at least 2 more first downs. They want to get inside the 40-yard line for a real good attempt from Sean Fleming.
Mons looking on, anxious. It's complete to Troy Mills. Across the 50 to the 45, and an Eskimo first down, stopping the clock with 42 seconds to play.
The BC Lions are scrambling. Right now, Mike Crum is playing from the safety. He's had to move up and play linebacker with the injury to Dwayne Knight. It was Mike Crum who was responsible to cover Troy Mills on the play, and he got caught up looking in the backfield. You see 37 scramble to make the tackle.
Crum, a rookie out of Saskatchewan. Another completion to Wiggins. He could be gone. Brian Wiggins to the 10-5. Touchdown, Edmonton. 30 yards to go. He points to the crowd to say he was on his way. Whoa! It's just good. The convert from Fleming, hooking, breaking like a barn swallow. But the Eskimos go up by a converted touchdown with 26 seconds to play. And what an enormous task for the BC Lions.
Talk about back-to-back catches for Brian Wiggins. Here comes Brian Wiggins across the field. Now Jimmy Kemp has frozen 37. Drum, who was supposed to drop and pick him off. He can't get there, and then it's a foot race, and Wiggins knows he's in. That's why he's waving to the crowd. Remember, he's the guy who fought for the football with Glenn Rogers and came up with the previous touchdown.
Jimmy Kemp celebrating his late game surge. And the home team has a stranglehold.
Well, if there's any good news for the BC Lions, it's that they still have 26 seconds left to try and answer. But they're going to need a big one. They're going to need a 30-plus yard play in this series. They're only going to have maybe 8 plays. The injury to Dwayne Knight, how big was that?
Huge. The body language on the BC bench does not look promising. Dave Donaldson standing back to await this kick from Sean Fleming. Harris has it at the 25, up through the middle and tackled. Shy of the 40-yard line. Another look at the go-ahead major.
Crossing patterns from the slot backs. Shannon Myers and Brian Wiggins.
The man of the eye, Brian Wiggins. So hot he's steaming here in the final minute.
And credit to Jimmy Kemp for calling a play that would take advantage of the injury situation in the BC defense.
22 seconds. Lions with 1 timeout. Damon Allen. There's a flag on the play. Winds up and hits Drummond for a first down to center field. 16 seconds left to play.
Well, I believe Melvin Hunter was offside, so
Gizmo Williams, 12 years in the CFL, missed 6 weeks of the season. Some thought his career was finished.
Offside, Edmonton, number 46, decline. First down.
Well, Hunter's offside is declined as the Lions go on the march. Hufnagel can only stand and watch now. 16 seconds to go. Can Damon Allen pull off a miracle and force overtime? He's got time. Far side to Eddie Brown. He's got it, and he's out of bounds with 7 seconds to play.
that play took a long time to develop because Damon Allen wanted to go to the short side of the field, but Alfred Jackson and Brett Anderson were covered there. So he had to hang on to the football and throw it to his checkoff man, Eddie Brown, to the outside. It took a lot of time off the clock. In fact, it took 9 seconds off the clock, and now they're down to 7, which is 2 plays.
And might there be a trick play in the BC offense as they send 4 receivers to the wide side, 2 to the short side. A flag on the play. And the clock ticks to 4 seconds.
Legal procedure. BC, number 52nd. Still second down. Please, thank you.
Dan Payne, they're going to put the time back on the clock. Greg Maughan's going to call the timeout. They'll put the 3 seconds back on the clock because Dan Payne moved before the snap of the ball, so the clock should not start running.
It looked like Barrett and Mons were trying to call a timeout. And they have as Allen goes to the sidelines. Desperation time for the Lions.
Well, here's the situation for Damon Allen. What he wants to do is try and get 2 plays called. He'll call 2 in the huddle. 1 for about 15 yards medium range. That'll get him into range to try and throw 1 up into the end zone. You know that the Edmonton defense is going to be way back. In fact, they have right now 5 defenders.
They're 40 yards back.
Yeah, 40 yards deep. for one shot to the end zone.
They're standing at Commonwealth. It's noisy. Allen in the shotgun, using up lots of time for this play. It's one last shot deep. A Hail Mary to the end zone. Picked up. No good. Time is out. The Eskimos win it. The Eskimos come back without their starting quarterback, David Archer, injured in the second half. 2 touchdown passes from Jimmy Kemp. And the Eskimos are going to the West Final to renew the Battle of Alberta against Calgary.
Unbelievable. They were the underdogs coming in. But you know what? You should never make the Edmonton Eskimos underdogs when they're playing at Commonwealth Stadium.
Dave Archer and Bo Lewis feuding a few weeks ago, making up as the Eskimos beat the Lions 40-33 in the West Semi. And Edmonton's going to Calgary next Sunday for the West Final against the Stampeders.